Yo, Dalton is not here. Can you text him?
Seeing monsters out your window. No, you can't sleep, you pretend though. You don't have to play the hero. 'Cause I got you like you got me. When the earth shakes, when the bombs scream, until our last breath, every heartbeat. side by side. You know I'll come running when you need. I'm coming. You know I'll come running. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, yeah, there's nothing I won't do. When you sound the alarm and the chaos is rising, leading the charge, yeah, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat, yeah, I'll be your army. You go to war, then I'm going with you. Pick up my sword, now there's nothing I won't do. Sound the alarm till the chaos is rising, leading the charge, I'm coming, I'm fighting. Swear on the breath that I breathe, I'll never retreat.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Dorado Gaming Sigma versus I already forgot their name. I just looked at their name too. But this is yeah, Absolute Zero. This is going to be the Runeterra. I believe this is a play of 16, so this is not the quarterfinals just yet, but this is the playoffs, game 1. Starting off, sorry, just let me introduce the caster real fast. I do have my boy Franco with me here. That would be the color caster for game 1. However, starting off the pick and ban, we already see a couple of the bans go down.
Yeah, we're getting right into the draft. I'm interested to see, what the current meta take is. I haven't played in a few days, so very interesting bans coming out already. The Trundle, Galio, Shen, not really stuff you see commonplace, especially in pro play, but I'm guessing this is a targeted ban against the Absolute Zero team. And yeah, well, Ekram on the B1 already. That's pretty standard, but the bans did come out of left field a little bit, so.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the bans are definitely towards some more of these global type champions coming out from Sigma. Obviously wanting to get rid of some of these really powerful champions that can affect the map, and the B1 Hecarim, like you said, is pretty predicted. One of the strongest junglers, if not the strongest jungler on the patch right now. Just has really great team fighting, great gank potential, really fast clears, and we do see an R1 Volibear in return. I would say that that's pretty standard. He's probably one of the other stronger junglers on this patch, as well as being a flex for the top lane if they so choose to.
Yep, and like you noted, pretty standard here picks on both sides. Volibear flex, but most likely going into the jungle. Interesting, the dog targeted 2 global champions. Maybe Absolute Zero is just really proficient in those, as they hover an early Ahri pick. Okay, I mean, I've been told that some of the strengths of Ahri is that she is pretty blindable in the current state that she's in. So interesting that Absolute Zero takes her so early in the draft. We'll see how Dorado and Tough Daddy respond to this.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ahri is definitely one of the stronger mid laners on the patch right now, just because she is so blind pickable. She doesn't really have a lot of losing matchups, and she scales well. She's obviously a really good pick if you can get an early lead, and we see a Jinx B2 in return. This is kind of expected. She is probably, again, one of the stronger, if not the strongest, AD carry on the patches. So a lot of power picks going between these teams, a lot of expected picks, especially seeing the way picks bans went, and we see a quirky B3.
Yep, everything pretty stock standard so far. I'm kind of waiting for these teams to surprise us. I think that that's kind of the fun of playing and casting in Plat Leagues is that a lot of times you get to see some non-standard picks, but so far you couldn't tell the difference between this and an LCS draft. I mean, I think both teams are just taking the strongest champions on the patch. Dorado very happy to pick up this Corki though, especially with the proficiency that Sigma has on it. So let's see how Absolute Zero responds here on R3 as we're taking down, and it is the Ezreal.
Ooh, Ezreal. Yeah, I really like this champion. I think a lot of people would instinctively, try to go for maybe an Aphelios kind of pick, but when you're against this Jinx Corki who has such long range, Aphelios is not as effective or potent as a longer range AD carry would be, and when you have this Ezreal, it does open up for a really strong R4 blind pick support because, with the way the draft is going now, Absolute Zero is going to have to blind their support unless they want to blind their top laner. So, getting a strong R4 blind pick support is going to be extremely important, and this Ezreal just opens up so many different options for them. Oh,
and a Mordekaiser ban here from the side of Dog. I mean, again, so the drafts themselves are extremely predictable, but the bans are I think these are, very targeted to the enemy top laner. I don't have the multi in front of me, so I can't assume anything, but probably a lot of playtime on this Mordekaiser, and maybe Dog wants to blind their top laner, so they're scared of playing into that. As we see the Camille ban targeted at Dobbin here, a lot of power picks off the board. Karma slips all the way to the final ban. This champion is pretty powerful and has a lot of presence in pro right now, but does not get through the second phase of ban. So let's see what Absolute Zero here has on the R4.
Yeah, I think R4 Karma here would have actually been, completely devastating for a Sigma. So I think that they're actually, a really great ban. This Ezreal Karma has such a strong level 1, one of the strongest, if not the strongest level 1 in the game for this bot lane. And they are opting to go for the orange, so counterpicking R5 support for Absolute Zero. That's going to be their focus this draft.
Wow, not too often do you see both support picks go super late in the draft like they are now, but like you mentioned, I mean, something to pair with this Ezreal to go into the Jinx lane, maybe make it a bit easier, as we see the Mundo hover. That is a Dobbin special, and Mundo does do well into Ornn, although, later in the game he obviously doesn't provide as much utility as the Ornn. He can match him in lane, he's really good at diving backline, and in this instance, when you have an Ahri Ezreal to catch, Mundo is just one of the few tank champions that can keep up with them. So I like the pick here from Dog. Let's see what they round out their comp with. For supports, what would you like to see here? Maybe like a Leona, Nautilus, something like that?
Well, when you're talking about, basically blinding your support, you're kind of forced into, this Leona Nautilus. You don't really have a lot of options here just because, the R5 counter pick support is so potent, especially when you have a strong level 1 to 3 champion as the Ezreal, and the Jinx can get bullied a lot. So it is going to be the blind Nautilus. I was really expecting that just because, this R5 support is going to be so huge for Absolute Zero, and what they get, it really is going to round out their draft, and it looks like it might be the Taric.
Taric cover? Oh,
yeah,
he locked it in. Oh my god, I haven't seen this champion in a long time, man. Okay.
Wow.
What do you think about the pick here? My god.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I think it's a great counter pick into the Nautilus. Taric goes so well against these melee laners, and it actually, with the Ezreal, you're able to shift forward and take the stun with him. It puts a lot of pressure on this Jinx, right? I think she's almost forced to take cleanse in this case, especially when you have the threat of, this Ahri charm, this Volibear stun. If she wants to stay safe in these team fights, I think she is definitely going to have to take cleanse, and that lowers her overall combat capability in the lane. And I think if played correctly, this Ezreal target lane can dominate this Jinx Nautilus, but we'll have to see how it plays out in the game.
Yeah, and I think for me, a lot of times when you want to grab a Taric is when the enemy drafts sort of like a death ball comp and they're all in or nothing. But it seems like Dorado has a lot of options here with how they want to play the fights. They can get in, they can get out. The only person that seems to be fully committed once he goes in is the Hecarim. So, if the Taric is something that Absolute Zero support is proficient in, then I can understand R5ing it. But I also think Dorado has ways to play around it in this game.
Yeah, when you have the poke of this Corki Jinx, you're not necessarily forced to go in. But, on the other hand, with the Absolute Zero, you do have this Ezreal, you do have this Ahri, these champions that are going to be slightly less range than the Corki, but compared to the rest of the team, they are going to be able to land a lot of poke, and they do have the go button with the Ornn. I think looking at both drafts, I would say they're honestly pretty even. I would even maybe even get a slight edge to Absolute Zero, just because this Taric can protect so much from this Hecarim, so much from this Nihilus and this Corki, but it's definitely going to be down to how well this Taric is played. I think this Taric is going to be extremely pivotal in a lot of these team fights for Absolute Zero.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, the last time you and I were on a cast, the drafts were pretty one-sided in every game, and I think it was pretty obvious from game to game which team was favored. But in this instance, I agree with you. I think both teams drafted pretty good compositions, and it's all going to come down to execution. If this Corki gets way too fed on that poke build, then, you know, I think Absolute Zero is going to have a really hard time contesting him because he can just play at range and shoot missiles. On the flip side, though, the amount of teamfight power that Absolute Zero has here with their comp is pretty deadly, so it'd be interesting to see who pulls away early with the game. But, you know, before we go to break, do you have anything else that you want to add?
No, I've got nothing here, and, you know, I think if we're good with that, I think we are going to go on a short break. So don't go anywhere, don't touch that mouse. We will be back very shortly with the start of Sigma versus Absolute Zero in the Runeterra Best of 16. All right, welcome back everyone to Runeterra Academy round of 16. We have Dorado Gaming Sigma versus Absolute Zero. This is game one start of the series, and right away we have both teams. We have a 5-man stack on the red side and a 5-man invade. It looks like they are going to maybe call it off for Sigma, but that 5-man stack from Absolute Zero looks absolutely scary.
Yep, that could have been quite disastrous for Dorado. Luckily, they don't pull the trigger invading into the blue side, instead opting to get a ward on the red side. If this doesn't get swept out, this early information is very valuable for Dorado to know where the Volibear's pathing to, because the side lanes get to decide, okay, I'm on strong side right now, my jungler's coming to me, I can make a play on here, but, unfortunately that ward is swiped away, but actually, Ezreal doesn't donate it to his solo laners, so they're not going to be able to take level 2 on the first wave, which, is an interesting little tech. I mean, I think most people know about it at this point, but yeah, no, Absolute Zero kind of trolling a little bit with that one.
Yeah, a little bit of a misplay coming out for them. I don't think it's going to matter too much in the long run, just because these lanes for the solo lanes aren't necessarily volatile. I fight you, win the whole 2 kind of thing, especially when you have a double take matchup in the top lane. But I think overall that is going to be a little bad for them. However, we do have the Hecarim starting on the top side, Volibear starting on the bot side, so it looks like the Volibear is going to be focusing this sort of top side of the map. I'm not exactly sure if that's where he wants to be necessarily early on, but I guess we're going to have to see how this top lane plays out.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I think that Mundo and Ornn are just two of the strongest Stonewall champions in the game. They're low econ, don't need a lot of resources. They can survive a lot of burst damage. They have tools. Oh, as we get a hook coming in.
Yeah, a little bit of hook, a little bit of damage going back and forth. Not going to be too much, though. Just a little bit of a trade going back and forth. That level 1 isn't necessarily too potent coming out from the Jinx, so it's not going to be too much. But they are going to get level 2, so we're going to see if it comes back on a re-engage. Flashes comes out from both sides. Hook lands onto the Taric. A little bit of damage. Heal has to come out. And overall, a summoner advantage going in the bot lane for Sigma.
Okay, I think I'm getting an idea of where the tail of the tape is going to be for this series. It looks like the bot lane is ready to rumble, just as soon as the lane starts here. And a lot of summoners blown, but I think in the end that trade massively favors Dorado.
Yeah, I agree, especially since, this Taric Ezreal, they did in fact go the Guardian on the Taric, so they are looking to play more of a scaling type of game, and, with that Guardian down, if they are able to pop it again before the Hecarim comes down, it could even lead into a dive, a little bit of damage, another root comes down onto the Taric, a lot of damage traded back and forth, and Ignite goes down, but he is able to flash out of there, heal coming out from Sigma, again, another trade of Summoners, but again, going in favor of Sigma in terms of health.
Yeah, very interesting that the Jinx didn't flash in there for the Taric. I am nothing related to bot lane. I don't even touch that role. So to me, it seemed like a free kill. But they understand the dynamic more than I do. As we're getting a 4v4.
Godly, another hook lands. Stun comes out. Not going to do a whole bunch as Hecarim is coming in on the backside. First blood goes over to the Jinx. And now maybe this Volibear is taken out, but nope, he's able to flash out. Taric, however, does land at the Chompers, gets taken down by the Hecarim. Walked up a little too far there.
Oh my god, absolute disaster for Absolute Zero. That's going to get quite annoying as the series cast goes on, but yeah, no, just complete disaster there. I mean, the Volibear pathing all over there, getting there a little bit late, so Ezreal's life gets taken for it, and early money on Jinx Hecarim. I think in the long term you want your gold on those scaling picks like the Jinx, but if Hecarim gets an early lead like that, he's just going to completely run over this game. So, well played to Dorado early. I definitely think that their aggression paid off, and Rogue pathing to them helped them out quite a bit there. But, for Absolute Zero, you have to wonder, what were they thinking going into that play when they were already down all their sums?
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe they thought that the Hecarim wasn't there and that maybe they had the Volibear there, but Godly's just, Godly with these Nautilus hooks. He lands so many hooks, so many roots, he burns so many summoners so early on that, Sigma is just able to make that play, and, props to Godly, because, he's absolutely dominating this laning phase for them. However, now lanes have sort of resettled back into a more passive state, if you will. Volibear is on the top side along with the Hecarim, but the Hecarim's camps are popping up on the bottom side, so he will be pathing down. Volibear's going for the reset. Could we see an early dragon with this lead?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely not out of the question, and on top of that, I do want to point out currently in the inventories here for the ADCs, we have a pickaxe and a longsword as compared to just a tier on the Ezreal. So You know, again, don't play a lot of bot lane, but that seems very abusable to me. And I think if Rogue wants to take advantages that he has on the map, ganking bot or grabbing this dragon is a really good opportunity right now to do it.
Yeah, speaking of ganking bot, we might see a little bit of a gank going down to the bot lane as the hook lands onto the Ezreal. Stump comes out, does stop him for a little bit, but Hecarim is able to get on. Not enough damage, however, though, is traded in order to get that kill. But we do see the Volley Bear showing up for this counter gank. Shadow could be in a little bit of a bad spot. Hexflash is coming out, comes out. Godly actually gets a huge Hexflash, gets the hook onto the Ezreal, takes him out, and now it's a 2v2. Can they finish off this Taric? They will. Then now it's a 1v1 Shadow versus Nguyen. But here comes Tough Daddy with the TP, able to take him out. The kill, double kill, going over to the Jinx. That's a great TP.
Orky with a steel chair coming out of the uprights. Just nobody expected him, not even me. That's wow, what again, all the action so far happening here in the bot lane. You know, out of our camera sight, we did miss that Ornn had to blow flash on the top side to Dobbin. So just Dorado winning all over the map right now. Jinx picking up 3 kills here in the early game and a plate, sitting on about 1,400 gold. I mean, this is just disastrous for Absolute Zero. You know, you don't want to. Jinx's strong point is her late game, and the fact that she's dominating so hard right now, I think it's going to be really hard for them to get a foothold here in this game. So hopefully we see Dorado working towards these dragons soon. You know, I think that, as we pointed out in the draft, some of the strengths of Absolute Zero's comp is the fact that they are so well synced together for team fights. So if Dorado doesn't keep putting their foot on the gas here, it could get a little bit dangerous if the game goes later on.
Yeah, but you know, with this huge lead on this Jinx, she is 3-0-2. You know, this bot lane is just going to be like absolute disastrous, I think, for Absolute Zero. I don't think they really have a way to play into this very much. We might see a little bit of trade going to the top lane with the junglers, but looks like the scuttle does get stolen over by Rogue. Could be looking to chase them down a little bit. Hecarim, Onslaught of Shadows comes in onto the Ornn, not able to get the ulti off as he does get knocked out of it. Kill goes over to Hecarim.
Yep, complete domination from Dorado here early. Yep, just complete domination here by Dorado early. I think that a lot of Hecarim's investments have paid off this game. The fact that he was able to tick 6 before the Volibear made that scuttle contest just extremely easy. And it was a lot of actions that led up to that as well, because Dobbin blowing Ornn's flash meant that he didn't have it there to escape. So, you know, a lot of times when a team invests a lot on one side of the map, the other side suffers for it, but Dorado is winning top, mid, and bot right now. So very well done to them, as they are going to pick up the dragon here as well. And just, you know, in the first 8 minutes of the game, I think Dorado's played very clean League of Legends.
Yeah, I have to agree for sure. I mean, you can just see, you know, the gold advantage in every single lane for Sigma. And, you know, I honestly think that they are by far, you know, the harder scaling team too. So, like, to have such, you know, a strong advantage early on is going to be so great, as we do see a little bit of a trade going to the top lane. The Mundo does come out, but here comes Nguyen for the gank. It looks like Dobbin might be going down here. Stun comes out, the bear comes down and gets slapped. Nguyen picks up that kill over Dobbin.
Yep, Dobbin just playing very lazily with his wave, just not really thinking too much about what he needs to do and where his position is on the map. I think when we talk about these players, a lot of times they can revert to solo queue habits, and you know, I just really didn't like the way he was playing the waves with those trades there. Once your wave is stuck behind the enemy tower, you kind of have to play a bit more safe without vision, and you know, Dobbin was full committing and trading behind his enemy's wave, so he gets punished as he should. You know, Dorado still has a bit of a foothold in this game, a little bit of a 2k gold lead, a little bit under that. But again, you know, this is the League of Legends is never over, as we've seen recently. I don't know if anybody caught the Gen G versus Dom 1 Kia Game 5, but you know, any game is winnable from either side. So even though you've got the lead, if you're Dorado, you have to play a bit more safe. And if you're the side of Absolute Zero, some of the keys I think to getting back in this game is starting to get your Ahri and your Ezreal online. Playing against these champions a lot in the recent meta, they're absolute monsters if they get ahead. You know, they just have so much kite ability and so much poke damage that can come out. A lot of people consider Ahri an assassin these days, which I've never really thought of her as one, but with the amount of damage she can put out and the fact that she has Electrocute Ignite, she is liable to one-shot some of these Dorado carries. So if you're Absolute Zero, I think that's the objective you have right now. And for Dorado, just keep scaling this Jinx and try to get out of lane, I think would be really important for them.
Yeah, agreed. If the Jinx can get online, get to those first 2 items, you know, it is going to be basically the make or break point, I think, for Sigma, as well as how well they're able to keep her protected from this Ornn Ahri sort of combo that will come down in these mid game team fights. However, that being said, we are 10 minutes into the game. 1.5 gold lead going over Sigma. Not the hugest lead, but I think that's pretty sizable, especially when you're comparing items for a lot of these laners. And we do have the dragon coming up in 2.5 minutes. I think when you look at both of these teams, they have such great engage that these team fights in the mid game can sort of be so light and quick, so explosive that this 1.5k gold lead, while I said it is a decent lead, it could not mean anything if in the mid game if they are able to find these team fights. So going into this, I think it's going to be great. But as I say that, Ezreal gets hooked. Onslaught of Shadows comes down. The Terrical is not fast enough, gets taken down. And now Taric is all alone, going to get taken down well. But here comes Ahri Volibear. But this is a 2v3. Maybe not exactly where they want to be. As the bear comes down, takes down Godly onto the backside of this fight. But here comes the Jinx ult, takes down the Volibear. And Ahri has to get out of there.
Yeah, just another really bad fight for Absolute Zero. I mean, they've always had the pieces in motion this game, that they've had the mid laners, the junglers coming to roam down, but they're always just 10, 15 seconds too late, and just like we saw in this play, again, that's mid jungle, too late to the fight. By the time they're there, the bot lane's already dead, and Jinx is getting those resets. Jinx notoriously hard to catch when she's moving, when she's excited, as Dobbin's going for a big trade here in the top side.
Just a little bit of damage traded back and forth, not going to be too much, I think.
And all the while, we're not even talking about the fact that Tough was able to get plates mid and crash his wave as well. If you've been watching any competitive play lately, you know that a scaled up poke Corki is just absolutely deadly, and one rocket can take half your HP. So I do think that was a bit of a desperation play by Absolute Zero, and the fact that it didn't work just snowballs this game more in Dorado's favor right now.
Yeah, and I want to take a look at the Mythic that Jinx just picked up. She did pick up the Gale Force overall, going to value that dash to get away from this Ornn, from this Ahri, and from this Volibear more than she is going to value the DPS that the Kraken Slayer would offer her. And I think that's a really good idea because you have so much damage coming up from this Corki already that you probably don't need it. Yeah, and Godly is able to get onto the backside here. I'm not sure if it's going to lead too much. Taric does get hooked, though. A little bit of damage goes back and forth, and it looks like they are just going to full send this. Hook is probably coming up very, very soon. Godly is getting close. The root does come down. Hook lands again. However, Taric gets a great double stun, and now, actually, Godly is traded back. Wow, a little bit of a blunder coming up from Sigma.
Yeah, I thought Godly played that so well up until the part where he died. He sidestepped the Taric stun, he held his hook for, the very end, and
it looks like an engage might be going on in the top lane. Ornn ult, however, does miss a huge cooldown going down, and Pink Ward coming down as well. Just a little donation of gold, I suppose. Yeah, it looked like a great gank at first, but unfortunately, a lot of the key spells missed there.
Yeah, you're very happy about this if you're Dorado, and this is what we were talking about. Ornn and Mundo are so hard to put down. Even if you do manage to kill them, they're very low econ tanks, and they don't really need a lot of resources. But that doesn't even matter because Dobbin was able to survive here. Interestingly enough, he is going for the Sunfire Cape. I don't know if I like that this game. I might prefer the Iceborne Gauntlet just to run down the backline, but Godly already making a play here in the top side as we're fighting mid as well.
Yeah, Corki gets caught out here, a lot of damage, and as you said, this Assassin Ahri just puts down so much, but not enough, as he is able to survive, but here comes the Volibear. A little bit of slap going back and forth, does trade the kill, but now they're onto this Hecarim. Is he going to be able to get out of here? Looks like he will be able to get out of there, just, speeds up a little and gets out of there. Looks like in the top lane, though, they weren't able to, or actually, yeah, they were able to burn the flash out of the Ornn, so that was a great gank from Godly as well.
Yep, quick 1-for-1 there. I think I do favor Dorado. Once again, that may be inherent caster bias, but I think money going on to a Hecarim that gets fed is a lot more useful than money going on to a Volibear. Although Rogue is going for the full tank build this game, he's not opting for the tier one-shot Doanel build, so that might change the perception of it a little bit. Still, I do think he's making the smart choice for his team. He knows that Corki and Jinx are going to be all the DPS output that he needs, but yeah, so far, both junglers putting a lot of kills on the board here. And both mid laners putting 0 kills on the board. So I think the biggest disadvantage here is in the bot lane, as Jinx is running up to protect her tower, which is just about 1 hit left on it. As Hecarim's coming in,
Yeah, he might get caught out here as the Hecarim does come in. However, he looks like he will be going for the Ezreal, but that doesn't matter because Hook lands onto the Taric, gets taken down by the Jinx. TP coming out to protect them. The Ornn is going to have to sack his wave top lane in order to do that, however. Overall, another kill for Sigma and TP burn from the Ornn.
Yeah, I have to imagine if you're Absolute Zero's team here, you're getting a little bit frustrated at the bot gap this game because so many roams, resources, teleports, and ganks are being blown down here just for their bot lane to be 1 and 7, and setting the other laners behind as well to bail them out. So, you know, the entire Dorado lead can be attributed to just the massive bot gap that we're having to see in this game right here. And I think, Absolute Zero keeps trying to bail out the Ezreal and the Taric, but they just keep hemorrhaging leads in other lanes as Godly going for an ult here.
Yeah, ult does land. Hook does land onto the Ezreal, and I can't see him getting out of here, and he will not. Ignite burns him down. Kill going over to Nihilus. Meanwhile, on the top side, Mundo finally knocked that tower down.
Yeah, well, it's just, I can't belabor enough that the bot gap this game is absolutely crazy. Send Shadow 5-0-5 with a 500 gold shutdown. Gonna claim that bot tower right now and back away. Dorado's got 2 Drakes, with the third one coming up in about 2 minutes, it seems. So, playing the early game very well. We're at about 16 minutes, and we have about a 4k gold lead for Dorado. I think that's, you're in a very comfortable position in that instance, as Dobbin's going to be able to get out of here with little to no problems. So, now let's look at the game state. Jinx, 2 items to Ezreal's 1, and Hecarim, 2 items to Volibear's 1. Just huge leads in AD and jungle. So if you're Dorado, you want to leverage this into a Herald, maybe pick up some tier 2s on the map and start gaining vision control in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, this Ezreal is just going to be so weak for so long. Like you said, he doesn't even have the second item yet. His Mana Moon is not nearly stacked up completely just yet, and it's not even built yet, so it wouldn't even transfer into the Muramana. And, he did go for this Divine Sunder build, which, if you've done the math, is actually some of the least damage you can get out of an Ezreal build right now. So I feel like he's just going to be so far behind this Jinx, who's already hit her 2-item power spike and will soon hit her 3-item power spike within the next probably several minutes once she is able to finish out this Infinity Edge. And this crit AD carry has already outscaled, which is not what you want to see when you put so much resources, like you said, into this Ezreal. Sigma is, however, looks like they are going to siege a little bit of damage onto this tower. They do have a 5k gold lead. Dragon is coming up in a minute, but I really can't see Absolute Zero trying to fight for this.
No, I think it would be a fool's errand to contest it at this point, just with how ahead everybody on Dorado is. Tough just finished his Muramana as well, so he is very strong, and I imagine the package is waiting for him in the base as well. Just want to take this time, if everybody can just take a look at our lovely brand new Dorado overlay on the Twitch channel to see that Dorado Sigma is up about 5k gold here. Very well done to our production team.
Well, a little bit of Death Bush, though, as they are able to find Godly. That could be a really good pick. This 4k gold lead isn't as great as it could be in order to 4v5, and I don't think Sigma's going to fight for this.
Yeah, the package is still not in the base. Oh, it just spawned, actually, so I think a little bit too late for Dorado to contest them. However, Dobbin is picking up the tier 2 in the top side for free. Dorado's trying to crack this mid one as well, as that's a quirky TP in the middle of 4 enemy members.
Yeah, it could be bad for him, but we'll have to see. Onslaught of Shadows comes down onto none as they are able to get out of there. Ornn does answer back in favor, and Mundo did TP down, so this is a 4v4 for now. Jinx ult comes down. They are able to take down 2, and are they able to find more? Ahri is able to get out of there with her dashes, but the Ornn might get taken down here. No, oh, actually he will be, as Dobbin flashes forward, able to take down that kill, but now Dobbin is going to get traded back in return. Volibear coming down on the flank is able to take down the Jinx. Overall, I believe that is a 3 for 3. Wow. Well, Nihilus Nook comes out, finds the Ahri, and the Ahri able to find this Volibear. I spoke too soon as Sigma gets an ace and takes down this mid tower.
Wow, absolute bloody fight. In the end, it's a 3 for ace for Dorado Sigma. The gold lead balloons even higher now. We're at about a 7,000 gold lead just at 20 minutes. That is considered a stomp. As you can see, the objective bounties have turned on. Riot Games is pitying Absolute Zero right now because they are so far down in the dumps. And even worse is all their money is sitting on this tank Volibear, whose job is just to land a Q and an ultimate. So, yeah, don't really see many ways for them to get back into this game, but I did like the effort with the Death Bush and the pick. It did net them a dragon, and it kind of stopped Dorado's inevitable scaling to that soul. If you get Hexel on this team, I think it is pretty doomed. So well done to them. Still keeping a fighting chance in this game, but Dorado picked up a lot of standing gold on the map there. We got 2 tier 2s, the tier 1 mid as well, and just 5 kills. So
Yeah,
I
maybe
imagine
that
they'll be looking for
Eric
the
here.
Smash soon.
Nothing coming out of that, but yeah, that was such a huge gold swing going over to Sigma. They were able to find so much. It looked a little bit even at first. However, I think Absolute Zero definitely bit off more than they could chew as they were trying to maybe try to pick up a little bit more. But Sigma, rightfully shut them down, able to take so many towers to so many inner towers. The top one went down, the mid one went down, and 7K gold lead. Wow, that is just so huge at 20 minutes. I would find it extremely difficult to see Sigma even getting close to losing this game now.
Yep, but in true Platinum fashion, anything is possible. Like I mentioned earlier, it just takes one pick onto the Jinx. She's got all the money for Dorado, and she's, we have a 10k room as well, so after his initial burst, he's not going to be able to output much. So if I'm Absolute Zero, I guess that's my key to success to get back into this game is just pick off the Jinx, hope you can pick off the Corki, and then pray for the rest, because your carries are very far behind in this game. I mean, Ahri is sitting on 1.5 items, and Ezreal 1.5 items compared to the 2.5 of ADC. So, your little poke going on here looks like Dorado is trying to set up for this Baron. Personally, I think they're strong enough to just start ripping it whenever and, start cracking the enemy base, but looks like they're taking things quite safe with this one.
And it looks like they are actually going over to this Baron after all. They were able to poke him out of the jungle. They are starting this, and it looks like the Absolute Zero is not going to know what's going on right away. Maybe they're sniffing a little bit of it out, but
Rocket.
HP is already at 8k, and Rocket's doing a little bit of damage. Nguyen trying to get in on this, but Tough Daddy's just saying, no, you're not going to get too close. Not without taking a little bit of damage first at least, but here comes the Volley Bear. Actually gets the Baron still. Wow, Objective Bounty going over, trades his life, but Absolute Zero is going to be extremely happy with that.
Yeah, Dorado's just burger flipping the Baron for no reason.
As they go back in, actually, they are able to find this Taric, and Absolute Zero might be throwing away their lead here a little bit as Rogue is able to go in. Almost finds the Ahri, not too much, but wow, that was a flip of a lifetime.
Yeah, no, just a really disgusting mistake on the side of Sigma. Just very amateur to flip the Nash like that when the enemy jungler is right over the wall. At that point, if you're a skilled team, if you're an experienced team, you call the damage off and you turn on the volley to just finish it. But just very, very blatantly disrespectful to completely flip the Nash in that instance. And Dorado is rightfully punished for that. So Absolute Zero finding a little bit of a foothold back into this game. They're now only down about 5k, maybe teetering on to 6k. If my math is correct, which it probably isn't. So, that's what we were talking about. I mean, this game is never over, and anything can happen, especially if you decide to burger flip the Nash. So now, 40 seconds until this Dragon. Absolute Zero still has a few Baron buffs on them. They picked up that Objective Bounty as well, so Godly might be...
Yeah, and he will get taken down by this Ezreal again, face checking this Ahri, who's is just going to just charm you and eat you up. So many misplays coming out from Sigma right now that this advantage might go bye-bye very soon, as this Dragon is coming up in 20 seconds. Godly is not going to be there for it, and Absolute Zero is going to try to use this Baron to maybe pick up some of this gold bounty, but Sigma is just making so many mistakes right now and giving Absolute Zero a foothold in a game that should have been over.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess Godly was doing some push-ups there or something, because blind face-checking that bush is just blatantly disrespectful here, but Dorado still might try to contest with the package here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Sigma, they TP'd in on Tough Daddy. Package does come down. A lot of damage going down onto the side of Absolute Zero. One goes down already. Heckram's in the back line, but Jinx finds a Volley Bear. That's 2 kills going over to Sigma. Oppo might be caught out here, taken down by the Mundo, actually. And Ahri, it's taken down on the backside by this Quirky. And lastly, there goes the Ornn Ace coming out from Sigma, and what looked like might have been a throw is now very solidly back in the favor of Sigma.
Yep, looks like the minions did finish Ahri off there too. She had almost made her great escape. I don't think they have enough time to end here, but they will definitely pick up the inhibitor. So well done to Sigma. That did look a little bit sketchy at first. If Taric was able to cleanse all the damage with his ultimate from the initial engage, it could have spelt trouble for them, but they just exploded way too quickly. The double rocket synergy of the Corki and the Jinx is just way too powerful in the current meta, so well done to Dorado, kind of stopping the bleeding, and now are up 10k gold when they reset here at 25 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Tough Daddy just putting on another masterclass performance onto this Quirky, showing everyone, how strong this champion is, especially when he, gets so far ahead. That package, at first, it looked, a little bad, but Tough Daddy was able to survive the initial burst coming out from Absolute Zero, and that package just tore them up so much damage got traded back, and, props to Sigma, they do a little throwing, they do a little bit of content, but they are able to bring this back, and they are able to bring it to a 9K gold lead from them.
Yep, and right now I think in the current meta, a lot of teams don't really value the Corki after those nerfs. It definitely makes the timings a bit harder, and he's not as much of a free win as he used to be. However, the one thing that they didn't really nerf about him was the damage from those rockets spam build, and it still can prove to be pretty deadly, although a bit more situational. And Dorado's just Sigma is just one of those teams that values it a lot. So, I really do think Absolute Zero is going to have to start respect banning this Corki. You may not feel as though it's like a strong meta pick, but if the enemy team plays it proficiently, then I think giving it over to them is just trolling. So, yeah, tough on his signature Corki right here, just putting the game on his back with Sen Shadow, and yeah, just completely rolling over these guys. I mean, I think if Sigma takes any fight here, they'll be favored.
And they might find someone here. Ari is able to walk out of it, though. And, I agree. Tough Daddy is just such a menace on this quarter. We've seen what he can do in so many games so far on this Quirky. And, them not banning it away and them able to, just give it over to Tough Daddy is just... I honestly, I think, it's just a huge mistake. He just looks so proficient on it, so strong, so scary. As we do see a little bit of a siege coming down in the mid lane. Maybe looking for something, but not able to find much. Huge damage coming up from that rocket.
Yeah, but I think the cracks are showing a little bit here for Dorado. If you're Absolute Zero, I don't think all hope is lost after this game one. They've obviously shown some signature weaknesses here, like they're... Oh, never mind, we got some hooks. We're going in.
Yeah, hook lands onto the Ari, but not able to find the knockback. Onslaught of Shadows onto 5. Corky's damage goes down onto 2 of them, and now Apple is going to get taken down, and now Tart has to run for his life. Will he make it out? Looks like he might, but now the Ornn is trapped. Another huge win coming out from Sigma, and this has to be the game now.
Yep, that's going to be the game. Just as I was talking about the weaknesses that they have, we'll have to table that until game 2 because Sigma just completely dominating Absolute Zero here. A little bit of platinum hiccups here and there, but I think if you're Sigma, you can walk away from this game and start cleaning up some of the mistakes you were making. Otherwise, well done to them. Every lane with a bounty right now, just complete domination on all sides of the map. And in 27 minutes, Dorado Gaming Sigma is going to take game 1 in this best of 5 series in the Runeterra playoffs against Absolute Zero.
Yeah, that was a great showing coming out from Sigma. I mean, I think that, hiccups aside, they're going to be extremely happy with this game. I don't expect them to be making much changes in this draft coming up into the next game. I think if they get the Corki again, they're really happy. And, I think if they get the Hecarim again, they're really happy. However, I think they'll be on red side this upcoming game. I'm not exactly sure how Runeterra does their game swapping aside, but... Yeah, okay, so loser does pick, actually. So I guess it'll be up to Absolute Zero on what side they want. They could go again for this red side. However, I think they might benefit more from this blue side if they have any like strong power picks that they have in mind. As we do look at the stats real fast, maybe we can check out some of this damage to see who exactly were the playmakers in this game.
Yep, League client trolling me as usual, but I think I did eventually manage to get to the stats here. As Mundo did as much damage as the Corki that game, which tied for the most damage in the game. Okay, that's something to see. I mean, yeah, just as expected, right? Corki Jinx took over the game. Mundo was free hitting an Ornn all game, so on the damage side, that makes sense. Goldgraph, pretty stable, never dipped into Absolute Zero's favor, and yeah, overall, I think I agree with you. I mean, I would pick blue if I was Absolute Zero just because they got so hard stomped on the red side. Maybe we'll see them pick up some of the prio picks like the Hecarim, like the Corki, like the Jinx, but we will have to stay tuned and find out when we go back to game 2. Yep, so we're going to throw it over to a break real quick, guys, but we will be back with game 2 in this Runeterra Academy Playoffs series between Dorado Gaming Sigma and Absolute Zero, so don't go anywhere.
too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm a fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, oh. Let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, oh. Let me bleed. Let me bleed. Let me. All of the pain seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do.
Alright guys, welcome back to Game 2 of Dorado Gaming Sigma vs Absolute Zero in the Runeterra Academy playoffs. We are jumping right back into the draft here as we have a Hecarim ban on the blue side immediately. Absolute Zero signifying that they don't want to play and they don't want to play against it, as Dog responded with the Trundle ban here. I think what we're going to be looking out here for then is, oh, there comes the Corki ban. Okay, right back into it. They've identified the issues and they're respecting these picks even if they don't think it's necessarily meta. The one thing that is still up that I think was dominant from game 1 is the Jinx, and I'm assuming Absolute Zero is going to nab that for their B1.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very smart ban. I say yay, not because I don't want to see Tough Daddy on it again, just because I'm glad that Tough Daddy's finally getting the respect he deserves on that champion. But we do see basically the exact same bans coming out from Dorado, Sigma. Actually, they are just going to be the exact same 3 bans, so not changing up their ban strategy too much. They know what's working, they know how to get to Absolute Zero, and as you said, let's see what this B1 is.
Yep, and we're right into it now. Shingali Trundle staying the same for Dog, but Absolute Zero adjusting their bans, getting rid of the Viego, and okay, it's the Zeri locked in. Interesting.
Ooh.
So that technically could be a flex, but I've heard that since the nerfs, she's pretty bad unless it goes to the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's most definitely going to be going into the bot lane, and I think Sigma very rightfully picks up the Jinx here. Zeri always has troubles with these sort of long-range champions that she has trouble kiting, so the Jinx is a good pick. And we do see the Lee Sin coming up for Rogue.
Wow, instant lock Lee Sin. Rogue is feeling himself. I do have insider information from the jungler himself that he is, quote, not quite quote, but he is horny for the dub. So can't quite say exactly what he told me, but he's feeling himself this game. So the Lee Sin R2 signifies that, as Absolute Zero is going to respond with the Xin Zhao pick. Much more standard, much more meta, right? But I think if you pick a Xin Zhao early enough, it can be punished in the draft if Dog wants to pick a couple melee champs to go ahead and brawl with him.
Yeah, and I think regardless, the Xin Zhao is going to be pretty powerful to get on the Jinx. Alessandra B3. That's a pick you don't see every day.
Yeah, I mean, that just doesn't seem very good, right? Lion Lissandra, I think there's a lot of ways to punish it. You can pick something like an artillery mage, like a scaling mage that just is fine to go even with it in the lane. Tough Daddy, I'm sure, has a lot in his arsenal here, and we might be seeing a mid pick on R3 to punish the Lissandra.
Yeah, I hope so, because I feel like this Lissandra is so unsafe to take early on. As Zillion in response, it could go mid or support.
Yeah, the Zillion, I mean, Tough Daddy is one of the Dorado mids that does play Zillion, so this is a technical flex pick. You know, Godly, maybe not known as much for it, so I would assume it is going mid here, but like you said, they can hold that flex until R5. As we're getting into the second stage ban phases, we still need to see who the top laners are going to be for both teams. As the Mordekaiser ban immediately comes out, I'm going to assume a Camille ban is straight to follow.
Yeah, taking away Camille R5 is going to be so important, I think, for Absolute Zero, especially for this top lane. You know, that Camille R5, if she gets a good matchup, could be quite dominant, especially with the Zillion following in behind her, and with the Lee Sin, that's a top jungle matchup you do not want to be playing against. But I would love to see Sigma with their last ban here hopefully ban maybe a Nautilus, something aggressive that can get on the Zillion if they do decide to play it in the bot lane, as you know, Zeri Nautilus can be quite terror, especially against this weaker lane of a Jinx.
Yep, and I think, you know, it's on Dorado to identify that as well. You know, maybe this is an instance where they save R5 for their support. However, with how dominant Mr. Sunshadow was in game 1 with the Jinx, I think that they're pretty confident that they can blind pick and save counter for their top laner, Mr. Dabble.
It's going to be the Ornn ban. So maybe, you know, Sigma is scared of this sort of this huge engage that can come down with this Lissandra Ornn Zeri combo. I think that's pretty fair. If Zillion has to revive somebody right away from all this engage, you know, it does make the Zillion a little less potent, and especially if he gets caught out as well, you know, with these huge teamfight ultimates, taking them out right away is going to be so key for Absolute Zero to win these teamfights. And we see a Mundo ban in response.
Okay, Mundo off the table, so both top laners are going to have to pick something unique in this game, as the Nautilus does get locked in. Yep, just like I was saying, I think Dorado's confident to just run it back. They feel like last time they dominated with no problem, so response for Absolute Zero, it could be an Enchanter, could be the Karma, the Yuumi, maybe the Renata. I know that Zeri often likes to have things that speed her up, so let's see what we get. And no, it's going to be the Janna, actually. I do like this pick quite a lot.
Yeah, the Janna is a direct counter to this Nautilus. If she gets played correctly, the Janna should be quite safe while also poking out this Jinx quite heavily in the laning phase. It also has, you know, really good synergy with this Xin Zhao, with this Zeri, two champions that want to get on top of the backline or just kite around. So I think it's a strong response to the Nautilus. However, she is an Enchanter. She does get prone to getting caught out. And a B5 Instalock Tryndamere.
Okay, so I have a lot of experience playing against Tryndamere. I've spent a lot of time prepping picks here. If I'm Dobbin, I would go something like the Tahm Kench. Maybe the Malphite is quite good against it. If you want to go a little bit more aggressive, things like the Jax are quite good. You can go Renekton for lane dominance. Kled if you're quite skilled with him. So we'll see. But, you know, they could flex this Lissandra top lane as well. It could be Tryndamere mid and Lissandra top. That is one of the paths that is open to Absolute Zero. As we get the Nasus pick. Oh! Okay, wait a minute.
Now it's a game.
I am a resident Nasus enjoyer. I think he's my second highest mastery champion, and I have never, well, I can't say never, but in the last few years, I haven't played this matchup, so maybe David knows something that I don't. I think the Wither could be quite useful for shutting the Tryndamere down, but wow, okay, just some real workshop tech getting in here. I'm excited for this game.
Yeah, you know, he's got two great Wither targets too, with this Zeri, with this Tryndamere. That Wither on any of these targets basically shut down that champion for, you know, 3 to 4 seconds while, you know, the Wither does its thing. So I think it's a strong pick. However, it's a little iffy because you do have this early game jungler in the Xin Zhao. You do have this strong CC backline coming out from the Lissandra and from the Janna. So he could have issues getting on top of targets, but in team fights, he presses W on Zeri or Tryndamere and they don't get to be a champion.
Yeah, I am going to be extremely biased here because, again, I love Nasus. I think if there's ever a time to pick it, it's against two people who want to be withered. I would even maybe go Wither second max here. You almost always max the E second, but, you know, you're going to be a lot more utility in this game and just setting up your team to catch these extremely mobile carries. But Man, I'm just so interested to see how Nasus interacts with these champions. This is something that I've never thought of as a counter pick into Tryndamere and Zeri, but I know that some people, including LS, are enjoying the Nasus support as a response to things like the Zeri, like the Jhin, that get really screwed over by the movement speed slow. So, Stigma with some dark technology, we were complaining in game 1 that these drafts were way too stock and standard, and now they come out picking things like the Nasus top. So I'm quite excited for this game.
Yeah, same here. One thing I am a little scared for Sigma. They do have two really weak lanes early on, in this Zillion, in this Nasus, and they have this early game jungler that wants to make a lot of fights happen, a lot of skirmishes. So a little bit of a thanking emoji, if you would, in terms of junglers synergy, but. I mean, I think this comp on paper, if it gets the ball rolling, is going to be like so fun to watch. It's going to be so interesting to see how this Nasus is able to interact with this area with this Tryndamere. So, I mean, I don't have anything else to say except I can't wait to get into this game.
Yeah, with that being said, guys, we're going to throw it to a break. Don't go anywhere. We got to see how this Nasus plays out here in Game 2 of the RA playoffs with Dorado Gaming Sigma versus Absolute Zero. So we'll be right back after the short break, guys.
can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it starve. But now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it
Alright guys, welcome back to Game 2 of Dorado Gaming Sigma versus Absolute Zero here in the Runeterra Academy playoffs. We're jumping right into it, and yeah, I'm just so hyped for this Nasus pick, man. I can't contain myself. I want to see. This is like if it's like if somebody picks Garner in a Captain Flowers game for me. I'm just I really hope this pick wins, because one thing I would have done differently here is I would have gone maybe with the teleport Ghost. Ghost is always really good into Tryndamere to match against him. You know, just the fact that he can run you down, but maybe the Wither supplements that. Again, I haven't played this matchup in a very, very long time. Opting with the Fleet Footwork as the Ruin, I think that is a very interesting choice. You know, you can go a lot of things with Nasus, the Phase Rush, Conqueror, Fleet Footwork, Unsealed Spellbook, but, you know, early sustain against the Tryndamere I think is a pretty smart idea to match the fact that Tryndamere is basically a walking heal tank. So yeah, gonna see how this game goes, and just wanted to do a quick time check with everybody since I didn't get that from my production. Yeah, it did seem like I was a little bit ahead of everybody else, but I think we are all synced up right now, so perfect. All right, we're gonna be good to go here. Just stock and standard so far in the game. Nobody's invading, nobody's got wards down, and yeah, both teams just gonna start here on the bot side.
Yeah, and it looks like Absolute Zero again defending this invade from this Nautilus. Looks like they're really terrified of what Sigma could do with this Nautilus early on, and I think rightfully so, because you know they are able to get an early advantage right now, especially with we have these hyper scaling lanes. It's going to be so bad for Absolute Zero. That being said, we do have both junglers starting on the bot side, working up their way towards this Tryndamere versus Susan matchup, which could be extremely volatile for the Nasus if he does get behind this Tryndamere, and this Tryndamere is just able to, dominate him into his early games. You see a little bit of a trade going on.
Oh yeah, this is exactly where Nasus is weak, the level 1 where he can't drop the E to break the armor or the W to slow him down. You know, he is pretty homeless on the wave as a hook just goes wide. Godly already losing some of the good luck charm he had in game 1 as both teams trading off for the level 2 in the bot side. But yeah, let's talk Susan, man. This champion is an enigma. I think he's always been gate kept from being great just because of the nature of his kit. Another big trade there in the top side. Okay, no, he should be fine to be Dove because he did take the level 2, but he is taking quite a lot of damage and missing a lot of the CS to the tower. So just one of the disadvantages of picking Nasus early is you have absolutely no pressure in the lane and no presence in the game. But Lee Sin coming in here for a gank. Let's see if this ends up paying off. Tryndamere did take a tower shot here as the Wither is going to drop. Will he be able to get out here? He does have both sums. He does opt to use it as the flash goes wide and hits the Xin Zhao here. Both teams fighting it. Rogue taking a lot of damage as a crit from Tryndamere does drop, but Nasus does trade the kill as Tryndamere is looking to pick up the Nasus. He does have the lethal tempo stacked as he may have gone and eaten too far, but no, complete disaster as Tryndamere picks up a double kill there. And Tough just not going to be able to pick this guy up. He's just way too far behind to go and catch him.
Yeah, that was just so much damage coming out onto the Lee Sin right away. It looked so good for Sigma at first as Lee Sin was able to land the full combo onto the Xin Zhao.
Let's land here on the Zeri. This is going to be pretty big. Can she E away? Yes, she does. She is going to turn back into the fight as Godly no longer has the resistances from the Aftershock, but he has the hook and the root again as he's going to flash in. The W from the Jinx does hit. She does have the flash to follow. She is going to go ahead and drop at the rockets. Not quite enough, but the hook is going to land as Jinx does get excited off of that kill, and they are going to pick up the Zeri there in the bot lane. Lots of sums traded, but overall favoring Dorado Gaming.
Wow, so much going on in this bot lane. It looks like another bot lane diff, even with, two support counter picks coming out from Absolute Zero, and they're just getting, completely dominated this series in the bot lane. Really, honestly, it's astounding to me because you put so much resource in this bot lane, and they're just not shaping up to where they need to be right now. But if you take a look at this top lane though, Trimmer did get this double kill. He did opt to buy these Swifties with the double kill that he got, so it's very interesting, I think, buy coming out from him.
Yeah, no, I like this. I really do like this pickup from the Tryndamere. The Zerkers is pretty important, but if you're Frozen Hearted and Withered, what good does your attack speed do anyway? I think what you want in this game is to be sticky onto the enemy team, so the Swifty Boots are really going to help against that Wither, and potentially the Randuins, which, I think is the incorrect choice, but a lot of people do build that over the Frozen Heart, which Frozen Heart definitely better for the Zeus in this game, as, he has an entire wave with him, and he's still not able to push into the Tryndamere. That is just how devastating 2 early kills on Tryndamere can be. Tryndamere, one of the best top lane champions at being able to set up freezes just because of how sustainable he is and his ability to go in for an all-in at any point in the game. So, yeah, Dobbin, I think, still just a little bit too weak to contest him here on this wave.
Yeah, those double buffs, so potent early on, as you see a little bit of trade might be going for a chase down here.
Yeah, and that's the Wither saving him again, as we're going to have a Hex Flash here in the bot lane, but Zeri doing Zeri things, as Janna might be caught out, though. No, the Q does go wide here, and, Rogue not be able to do anything except soak XP from his bot lane, as Tough is here to help push in the wave. This is, definitely coming out of the fact that Dobbin is not able to crash this on his own, and I think no time for Dorado fans to panic just quite yet. This is the weakest point of the lane for the Nasus, is the point before he has the Sheen in level 6 to contest the Tryndamere, so, just kind of have to get him to his early stages. As Godly's going to go for another hook here. He does Hex Flash over the minions onto the Zeri, but I think she's going to be able to get out here. No, Rogue actually W's in here on the gank, but the Janna is going to be able to keep him safe. They do bait the TP from the Lissandra, and I think Dorado might be in trouble here because Xin Zhao and Lissandra are both in here. They're most definitely going to trade at least one kill. There goes the Jinx. Rogue gonna have to run away with his tail behind his back. Does have the W as Janna flashes with the tornado, but it's not quite enough. And now Absolute Zero turning the tides here in this bot lane, picking up a kill.
Yeah, I feel like Sigma definitely forced a little bit too hard there, trying to maybe burn more stuff coming off the bot lane, but you can see what happens when they chase too long. Lissandra's able to get that TP off, and then here comes the Xin Zhao for the counter gank. They end up having to give up to Jinx in order to survive, and even Rogue again got flashed and almost got caught out there. But overall, it is a kill going over to Absolute Zero, and it is the early game Cloud Dragon going over them as well.
Yep, and this is just one of the issues I think with the Lee Sin, is that he is a bit more volatile in that if he doesn't get off these early ganks and put a lot of pressure on the map, he's going to start being more and more useless compared to the Xin Zhao, who's able to face tank in fights and Core Drinker back up to 1,000 health after being invulnerable to everything outside of his shield. So we got to see if this pick pays off for Rogue, but he is pretty far down in jungle tempo right now compared to the Xin Zhao. Top lane as well, down about 15 CS, and you do note that in the small gold lead that Absolute Zero has of about 1,000.
Yeah, and I think that tempo is going to be huge if Absolute Zero can transition that into more of a lead for either this Tryndamere or even this bot lane of Zeri, Janna, because if they are able to get the ball rolling, they're able to get to these core items. They have a lot of kiting to be doing.
We are going to see, I think, a 3-man dive here on this massive stacked wave. I mean, if Dobbin loses all of this, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Tryndamere does start it early, but Dobbin is just sitting there, face taking him. He presses the ult, I think, way too late there in the fight. As Tryndamere does E away, he does still have the flash, and he's not going to take the tower shot. Really unfortunate for Dobbin. He's going to lose a lot of minions there. I don't think he played that the smartest, but just, yeah, really unlucky when you have the support and the jungler roam up to come screw you over. And Dobbin going to miss out on about 3 waves of XP and gold there.
Yeah, absolute disaster for Dobbin. I think these are the kind of plays that you need to be making if you're Absolute Zero in order to close out this game, because so much scaling is just on the side of Sigma that if you let the ball all get rolling and they're able to get scaling, it's going to be impossible to stop them, and that is just huge, I think, for them, because Dobbin must miss
Godly going straight in, complete chat, doesn't even care, but Rogue misses the RQ combo. Oh, and Godly picks up the kill, so he's gonna 1-for-1 with the Zeri, who's actually gonna pick up 2 kills there. No, this is... Oh, I need to look away. I can't watch this anymore. This is just a complete disaster for Dorado Gaming Sigma. Just mis-executed there on the dive, and Zeri picks up 2 kills, and so now we're seeing the complete opposite of what was favored Dorado in Game 1 is now going in the favor of Absolute Zero here in Game 2.
Yeah, I think Sigma is just forced to make so many plays, and the execution is just not there It looked so good at first. Maybe the Janus being caught out, but they missed time to Zeri, and the Zeri was just able to get back from such a good buy, and looks like might have found the Jinx here too.
Yeah, she's gonna go in for a bit of a trade there. Does chunk this Jinx to about half HP, but with the wave crashing in, Jinx has to make a decision. Do I lose these creeps or potentially risk being dove? May not be too much of a problem since Zeri doesn't have the ultimate, but her support is still MIA, so yeah, they are going to contest her here on this turret, and not much Jinx can do about it. Not seeing too many avenues for Dorado here in this early game. Like we talked about in draft, when you draft things like Nasus Zilean, I think those are two of the absolute weakest solo laners in the entire game. But Rogue finds a play no matter what. Lissandra ult's not going to be enough as that last Zilean auto does tick. And just as I say that, I cast a curse myself. Zilean is the strongest solo laner in the game as he picks up the kill, and Godly goes all the way to Texas.
Yeah, that was a great pick onto the Lissandra there. Did she ult herself, or I think she ended up ulting the Lee Sin, because I did not see her heal very much after the initial damage came down. She might have ulted herself, but yeah, I think that was a great pick, especially when it was basically right in front of the face of the rest of Top 2-0, who was taking the Rift Herald. So able to, pick that up is going to be really important, and is looking to engage one of the bot lane.
It looked like a disaster here. Godly's already down to a quarter HP, and the fight hasn't even started. Just completely mistiming the play there. Zeri picking up another kill, 4-1.
And no.
Just doesn't look good. I mean, wait, no, the stun does land, and Jinx gets the shutdown. Huge turnaround play there. Oh my god, I did not see that one coming at all.
Was that a bomb delivery by Lee Sin?
I think it was, because she got stunned off of that. That was either blind luck or excellently played, but I'm going to assume it was excellently played by them. Oh, Dobbin might be in... No, he is going to be in trouble here. To quote Mr. Zoal, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. A lot of bit of trouble as Mr. Trinimir... Wait, no, never mind. Dobbin is completely playing this. He picks up the kill. Kill number 1 secured. Is he going to be able to pick up kill number 2 as the Ghost is about to proc back on the Trinimir, but Godly is here in the vicinity, and the E does just barely manage to get him out of the fight, but Dobbin picking up a crucial kill there, getting himself back into the game. Things are looking up for Dorado right now. Zilean is chasing this pick down. They really want this kill here. I think they may be able to get it too. No, they're just going to completely give up. And this Godly going all the way to Narnia to chase down here onto this pick. Just Hexa flashing in the enemy's faces to show intimidation. And yeah, I mean, Dorado Gaming Sigma down but not out is the story of this game so far.
I think Nguyen was hitting the tower. Like, I think he hit it like 2 or 3 times before he realized, hey, maybe this Nasus isn't gonna die. A little bit of trade going on in the bot lane, but I can't imagine it amounts to much. But my word, this game is so bloody. So many mistakes going on from both sides as this dragon is coming up. Sigma looks like they might be able to contest it.
Yeah, we do hear some on the way pings. I don't think this is a good idea though, because Dorado is outnumbered, and yep, there's absolute zero. No, but the Lissandra is gonna go in here. Godly, she ults herself in that instance. I don't think that's the right place. A double stun goes down for the Zilean. Rogue does looking to come in here as Godly's ult does touch the backline, but the Q is not gonna be able to activate in time. The enemy team is running away as the Jinx is gonna drop down, and Dog Tough Daddy picks up another kill. Janna is in the back healing her entire team, but Dorado picking up a kill there, and now the goal is all but even, Mr. Carino.
Wow, this game is so explosive. As I was saying before, just so many mistakes coming on from both sides. They're making such, I think uncharacteristic.
Oh, Godly stole the red, and Rogue's here. The stun, the root, the laser Q, it hit. Oh my! I don't even know what's going on right now, man. Just another kill picked up by Rogue. Godly is piss smurfing in this game.
I think I know what it is. It's the year of the dog.
It is the year of the dog, Mr. Carino, as you rightly pointed out, and Janna did not get the memo because she is stuck here between 3 dogs in a hard place as the Zanya does drop down. The teleport is going to come in, though. This might be a poor execution of a play as the exhaust drops down under Rogue, who does absolute negative damage against the absolute zero team, and Godly is going to get picked up as well, I believe. No, he does have the regular flash. He's hex flashed so much this game, I forgot he had another button on that keyboard, but he does get out of there, and Rogue is going to fall. They did blow the TP, so, not completely washed out, but yeah, overall, not a great play for Dorado. And I have to point out, the Lee Sin only has 56 farm in this game at about 13 minutes. So not a very good look.
Yeah, who needs farm when you have kills, He's just so everywhere on the map, and a little bit of a trade in the top lane. I can't imagine match amounts to much, but there's just so little time to really get a good analysis of what's happening in this game. But I think TLDR, both teams are making a lot of great plays and a lot of bad plays, and it's just a knife fight right now. Everyone's getting cut up, everyone's getting scratched, and I think that right now it's basically one play gets made and the other team is forced to make another play, and I think whoever is going to be the last man standing here is going to win, as we do see the trade on the top lane.
Wait a minute, he doesn't get slowed. He might be able to do this. No, the Gale Force does have to get blown, and Tryndamere does save his ult, but if he got Q'd one more time, he was going to die there. Early Frozen Heart tech picked up from the Dominant. I really enjoy that right now because it is letting him win out on these trades, and Tryndamere already feels pretty useless in the side lane to contest this. As the Xin Zhao is coming over, the Zeri might look to drop the ultimate here. She does drop it. This is going to be pretty deadly. 4 people have collapsed onto the dogs here. Disaster scenario as Lissandra does get over past the vision. You have to wonder how she was able to roam all that way without the communication happening, and the dogs fall 2-0 on that trade.
It is, as of right now, no longer You're the Dog. You're the Dog might come back.
Yeah.
That being said, they lose out on that trade. They get caught out by the Lissandra roam. Xin Zhao very smartly so was able to stick into that lane, or stay into that lane, and
oh my god! What? Oh my god!
Wow. I did not think that would kill him, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I don't think Tryndamere thought that would kill him either. He was holding his heart until next game. Oh, but Zeri and John are gonna be here. Let's see how powerful this pick truly is. Is he gonna be able to contest against these two? And the Wither just lets him get out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game on our hands.
Yeah, that Wither basically just said, Zeri, you don't get to be a champion right now, so I'm just gonna walk away from the Janna. Yeah, I mean that Q stack is so much right now. I need to check where it's at now. It's at 291, so not as high as you would want to see it at this point. I think normally you're like at what, 400 at like 15 minutes.
Well, if the lane is gone as badly as it has for Dobbin, I think 300 at about 15 is a pretty good marker, all things considered. I mean, you are correct that 400 at 15 is ideal, but 300, it's going to be able to pack quite a punch when he gets this Trinity Force complete. As Sandra goes over the wall, she does miss her W. Rogue does hit the Q as the hook into the kickback into the whole team, and they are going to disengage perfectly. But no, there's a Trinity here on the side. He did have his ultimate because he forgot to use it against Dobbin earlier in the fight. So Rogue is just getting bonked as Tryndamere fails the E, as the Rocket also fails, and the Janna ult comes out, and just a lot of disengage, a lot of healing, and nobody dying, which is not good stream content, guys. Get back in there, as Lissandra just might have heard my words, and Zen Shadow also wanted to put some entertainment on for the stream because he is going to fall down there just completely out of position as Mr. Godly is going to Hexaflash himself back to the Nexus. Dobbin walking in to pick up his cannon minion. He says, my team may have died, but I refuse to, as the stun does go out. Is the Q going to be enough? Mr. Xin Zhao does go in, and Dobbin flash Qs him. He's going to pick up the kill, putting the game on his back on this completely unpopular pick, but showing that it is absolutely smurf in this game. So far, so good. All things looking up for the Susan.
The Susan is unleashed. Who let the dogs out, Franco? That's what I want to know. Who let Dobbin out? Because he is just finding so many kills right now. This Nasus is getting so huge, and I think he's a few thousand gold from being the absolute terror that we knew Susan can be this game. As Sigma does pick up this Fire Drake, so not going to be able to get that soul early on for Absolute Zero, which is going to be huge because that Inferno Soul on a lot of these champions that is a little bit low damage or I say low damage, but you do have the Tryndamere, but that little bit of extra damage could go so far, especially when it comes to bursting down these carries. So I think Absolute Zero is not going to be happy with that at all, as it does delay their win con.
Yeah, and you may have just given me an idea for a Dorado parody song of Who Let the Dogs Out, but that'll be for another day for sure. I did want to point out that although Dobbin is absolutely piss smurfing in this game, he has elected to pick the worst Nasus skin in existence, but we're going to have to pause that conversation here because the Wither does come down, and Nasus and Tryndamere are fighting here. The Gale Force is going to drop down. The E does come in. Dobbin does not have the flash, but he does have the chase down as the second Wither drops as well. The E is going to be on a 5-second cooldown, and Dobbin just decides to give up on the play. It did seem like it was not going to net a kill, but wow, just the power of this Nasus, man. I mean, Tryndamere is not allowed to play the side lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, maybe we had a few more minutes before he would become, such an absolute terror to this Tryndamere, but I was wrong. This Susan is completely online. I don't think Tryndamere is going to be able to stop him, and that's going to be huge because there is not a single champion on Absolute Zero side that can stop this Susan now, unless they send multiple people, but as I say that, a little bit of pick in the jungle.
Yep, Rogue did catch Lysandra on her way, and Dobbin is just absolutely destroying this Tryndamere. He's, okay, he may have overstayed actually just a little bit, but Rogue is here to back him up, and Susan is worried about two characters, and Lee Sin is going to take out the Tryndamere. He's going to fall over, just completely dead. As the TP comes in, Rogue hits the Q, the E, and the Lysandra's taken too early, and the TP from Tough Daddy is back in here, and once again, Nasus comes out on top. This game is full of surprises and one-shots, and I am just loving it.
RJ, you gotta press that R button, man. Where are you at? This is like the second time that he's died with his ultimate up in such, pivotal moments. If he presses R right there, I feel like they are able to turn that around maybe. But, because of that, that's just more and more pressure gone from the Tryndamere. The Tryndamere, I believe, was 3-0 or 3-1 at one point. Now he's 3-2.
Oh, the flash E from the Xin Zhao, but no, the ultimate's gonna come in. The Gale Force might save him. Rogue does W. Does he have the ultimate to kick her away? No, he doesn't. He may have just safeguarded into his own death, but Godly is there to pick him up for the help, and they are able to get out. Yeah, we're gonna have to start calling this Tryndamere Mr. Actic, because the R is most definitely missing this game.
No.
Just not able to pick it up. I apologize for the terrible joke, but I had to go for it. As Dorado here gonna have to defend here on this mid lane. Their lovable Susan is nowhere to be seen, so I do think that Absolute Zero is gonna be able to pick this one up. As oh my god, what the
stun?
Holy. Okay, that's quite powerful. I mean, I didn't even realize the Zillion is sitting on 2 items with the completed Seraphs. So looks like he has indeed scaled up. And one thing I did want to point out, it's a little bit of a deficit now, but just a minute ago, Rogue has caught up in CS to the Xin Zhao. I don't know how he did that, honestly, being down 20 CS, but, props to him for bringing it back, and I imagine he's going to be just as useful in this game now.
Yeah,
Alright.
Rogue might have levied his people a little and stole some money, but
Sandra's gonna go in. Send Shadow is not where he wants to be, but he does have the ultimate from Tough. Looks like Dorado might be able to turn this fight on. Tryndamere had so much PTSD from that last fight. He popped his ult way too early, so he may be able to get popped here, but no, nobody's focusing him. I don't think they noticed, but Rogue and Nasus completely one-shot as Lysandra is found on the backside. She's stunned, so she can't pick E, and she is just gonna fall down there to Dorado. They do pick up 2 kills for 1 ass. Godly is not done playing this game yet. Everything is going in the favor of Dorado Gaming right now as they are right on top of this area. Who is with her? She is going to fall. Dobbin does flash into the backline to get the John, who's going to be able to get away. But Karina, I have no words. This might be the most entertaining game you and I have ever cast.
yeah, I have to agree, and everything's coming up, dog. That looks so bad. At first for Sigma, Shadow is able to get caught out. Tough Daddy might be okay. He's doing a little bit of content right there, I suppose. Burns the flash, gets executed.
Fast back.
Yeah, just content. But outside of that, it looked like things were coming up Sigma. Or it looked like things were going up Absolute Zero's way. But the ultimate did go down onto Shadow. He survived so long enough for the TP to come down from this Nasus. The Nasus shows up, gets exhausted, doesn't care, slaps the Xin Zhao around a little, and then on that counter engage by Godly, able to find the hook onto the Zeri. They were able to pick up 2, and also as well as the inner tower. However, this dragon is coming in 15 seconds. Tough Daddy did die. He does have TP though, so he should make it back in time.
Okay, and just want to update you guys, Nasus is at about 490 stacks right now, just under 500 at 22 minutes. He is going to be quite a menace in these fights as he's working towards the Dead Man's Plate. Not an item I consider to be very good, but I can understand why he might think so in this game as the ultimate does drop down onto the Zeri. Immediately, Xin Zhao is trying to finish off the dragon as the Dragon's Kick does drop them into the pit. The Jinx ult is not going to be enough to steal it. Both teams here looking to contest here on this fight as the Xin Zhao immediately drops down. Dobbin, the menace, is going into the backline as Tachana has no way to escape. Plus 12 for DK as they pick up another kill. That's 3 for nothing for Dorado Sigma, and you have to imagine they move to the Baron.
Yeah, the steal was almost taken by Rogue. Not enough damage, however, went down onto that dragon, and the Xin Zhao was able to pick it up on the backside of that. So that does, save their win con just a little. But now they have to face a Sigma that is going to be baroned up because there is no way that Absolute Zero is going to be able to stop them, as there are only 2 members alive. Nguyen's not up, and this Baron push by Sigma coming up very soon is going to basically make or break the game, I think. I think if they are able to end the game with the Baron or at least get a sizable advantage, this Infernal Soul does not come into play.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to look at what this Susan pick has done to the enemy Tryndamere. Tryndamere heavily relies on the Navori Quick Blade second purchase to get those infinite spin to wins. But he's had to go Lord Dom's second this game with Swifty Boots. So this Tryndamere is significantly weaker than he would be in a normal game. So he's just not being able to output in the team fights or in the side lane because Nasus is just completely stonewalling him with the Dead Man's purchase picked up as well. And I think that, you know, Tryndamere may have lost to the Shopkeep this game just because he has opted a little bit too much into the anti-Nasus tech. So he's not really finding his utility in these fights. I do agree with you. I think the dogs are going to be able to take a significant chunk of the enemy base on this push just because of how much stronger they are, but their waves are not synced right now.
Yeah, they aren't, but I think Sigma hopefully is smart enough to realize that, you know, all they need to do is wait for the Susan to get pushed up, and then once he gets pushed up, there is not a single person on Absolute Zero. Hell, there might even be 2 people on Absolute Zero that can stop this Susan from pushing in. He's sitting on 3 items. He's sitting on a Frozen Heart. These 80 champions are not going to be doing much damage to him. The only magic damage that they have on the source of Absolute Zero is this Lissandra, and look how weak she is. She's sitting on 1.5 items. She's really not a champion outside of the R button, so it's going to be really hard to take down, I think, this Dobbin.
Yeah, it's no surprise to me, and I'm sure to you, that the blind Lissandra pick is not paying off here, especially with how poorly it's been played. I mean, just the times where you want to ult yourself, you haven't, and the times you want to ult other people, you ulted yourself, so just complete misexecution as the bombs do land, and Decane almost gets in striking range, and I think that would have been a one-shot highlight reel right there, as Lissandra does opt to go in with the W, and then immediately ult herself, just as I was talking about. This just looks like poor execution as the stopwatch drops in, and all that Lissandra has done all game here is being the stasis. Double stun for the Zilean as he's going to pick up the kill. The Undying Rage is going to die in just about a second as Jinx picks her up with the Lethal Temple fully stacked, but Zeri does have full stacks on her. She's trying to kite out this fight. Is she going to be able to do it? No, because Jinx is more excited. Jinx has more movement speed than you. Jinx is just a better champion as they pick up the ace, and I think that's going to be the game.
Yeah, I mean, this Lissandra is just... Go back to the drawing board, Absolute Zero. This Lissandra isn't it. You know, she gets that 3-man engage, and it leads to absolutely nothing but a counter engage coming out from Sigma, and they just run them down. And this is going to be the game coming out from Sigma 2-0 off the back of this disgusting Nasus.
Yeah, I guess you could say that Lissandra had absolute zero impact on this game, guys. We're going to go ahead and jump into the stats here just to see how much damage Decane did. I want to note that he did end the game with just over 600 stacks on that Q. Credits to Dobbin here. I mean, just completely turning that game around. It looked so doomed for them early, but you know, he was just so powerful in that late game. Nobody could touch him. Yep, and you know, just noting, like we said, it completely flipped on its head from the early game. Dorado was able to grab that lead, and while Nasus did do a lot of damage, interesting to note just how much impact that Zeri had. I mean, just completely out-damaging everybody, but not quite able to carry the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think her damage numbers are probably just, you know, a little padded because, you know, she's hitting these 2 huge tanks, that is the Nasus and the Nautilus, but, you know, she wasn't able to necessarily find the damage onto the back line, and this Jinx, you know, once she gets those items, she's able to just DPS, and you know, this Nasus most damage on his team. You know, in a game where you have this Jinx and this Zilean that, you know, has a lot of targets to hit, you know, I think that's pretty impressive that you're able to just find that much damage, especially when, you know, you have like such a kiting team comp that Absolute Zero had.
Oh, I mean, off of the heels of that super entertaining game, the only thing I can look forward to even more is to see if they're going to draw a Nasus ban in Game 3. But with that, we're going to have to take it over to a short break, guys. Don't go anywhere. When we're back, we're going to be dropping into match point here. Dorado Gaming Sigma versus Absolute Zero, with Dorado being up 2-0 in this best of 5.
does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to see, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Yeah, I'm disgusted with myself, and I'm disgusted with the way we're told to have a certain face, a certain weight, because we aren't pixels on a screen. No, we're human, we breathe. Every single thing we see curated, it's overrated. These expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah. Messing with my head again. You had your heart set on me, but these feels, they come and go, and they come so easily. Tell me what it is about you that I can't forget, but you're breaking down my walls again just to set me free.
Alright guys, welcome back to Match Point here in the Runeterra Academy playoff series between Dorado Gaming Sigma and Absolute Zero. We're getting right into the draft here at Trundle. Hecarim bands traded off here. Let's see if we're going to get a Corki. Let's see if we're going to get a Trinimir band. Let's see if we're going to get a Nasus band. No, there's no way we get to see that champ again. I'll take my one game in the next 5 years that we see of Nasus, but either way, this series has definitely delivered so far on the content, on the stomps, on the picks, on the plays. So here, joined by my lovely co-caster, Mr. Alex Carino, as we get into this ban phase. Mr. Carino, what are you predicting here?
Well, I'm predicting the exact same bans Sigma has done all series, and we will get it. And they actually opt for the Zillion ban, so thinking that the Zillion was another huge problem. Looks like Tough Daddy just has so many good picks that he can bring out in the mid lane that they're just so scared of. Jinx B1, that is pretty predictable. Sigma have been favoring that champion all game, and here comes the Ashe.
Okay.
That's what I like to see.
Yeah, by some metrics, some people are calling this champ S tier, best tier. Others not so hot on this pick, so I'll have to see how it delivers here. I don't really have opinions on AD carries, but I can definitely see how a champ with a lot of utility like Ashe can be very useful, especially in locking down this Jinx, as we immediately see the Nautilus paired with it as well. So Absolute Zero is showing all their cards pretty early in the draft here. Can this Nautilus get counterpicked?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of counter picks for the Nautilus. It is seen as generally as a safe blind, but that's mostly because he doesn't need to interact with the lane if he just chooses not to. He could just always roam, and this is one of the counter picks I was talking about. This Braum is such a huge counter pick to this Ashe, to this Nautilus, and Absolute Zero showing their cards early on is going to get heavily punished for it.
So I'm actually unaware of the interaction with the Ashel and the Braum shield. Does it stop the CC, or does it stop it from hitting other people, or what's so special about it?
So if it hits the shield, it will still CC Braum. However, it will completely block basically most of the hitbox from hitting anyone. So it makes it really hard for Ashe to find the picks, especially if Braum plays it correctly, where he's just mostly sitting on Jinx. There's basically no way that Jinx gets caught out here. If Braum is just sitting on here completely, if Nautilus goes for hooks, even if it hits the Jinx, he gets stunned up, gets traded on. Volleys, Ashe arrows, they basically should not be hitting the Jinx. It makes Braum a really strong counter pick into the Nautilus, as we do see that Jarvan and Xin Zhao traded back and forth for the junglers. I think the Jarvan's a great pick here, locks down the Ashe, makes her below the flash. The Xin Zhao is something that they have been favoring on the side of Absolute Zero. As we go into the bans as well, the Victor and the Mordekaiser, as we've seen time and time again, is basically the same bans that Sigma has done.
Yep, and predicting as well that also we'll see a Camille ban. Maybe Tryndamere is still on the board. I think what made it so useless last time was the Nasus, but in a normal game it is able to dominate, and I think that Tryndamere does look like a pretty good pickup here for the red side. It is a flex as well, since it can go into both lanes. So I wouldn't expect it on R4 because it would get dogged again, but maybe as a potential R5 or even B4 B5 blind, we could see a Tryndamere here. The Camille is up though for Dobbin. I know he does enjoy that champion quite a lot. So a lot of options here in this draft as we're about to round it out. Let's see what Absolute Zero is targeting here on the red side.
Yeah, it would have to be a blind from coming out from Dobbin. They are on the blue side. So it could make it a little dicey if Absolute Zero does have a counter pick for it. R4 is going to be Ahri, again, a safe all-around blind. I think that's a fine pick for him. Looks like Absolute Zero is going very, very pick heavy. And I think it would be beneficial for Sigma to either find a longer ranged mid laner here, or maybe something that can protect itself. And it looks like it could be the Nivea. That would be pretty spicy.
This is a notorious tough daddy pick here, the Anivia. I was wondering what he was going to go with, since all of his mids that he's played this series have been banned, and it is the Anivia that's going to be picked up with the Camille hover to boot.
Yeah, this Anivia is actually a pretty decent pick here. It doesn't affect the Ashe very much, as the Ashe does have that range to stay away. It does affect her getting up close to attack some of these backline champions, but the big thing about the Nivea is that it locks out this Xin Zhao, locks out this Nautilus. It makes it so hard for them to play the game comfortably. It even makes it hard for Ahri to sort of dash in, because it does run the risk of her just getting shut down by a stun, and it looks like Absolute Zero might be going for this R5 Poppy.
Okay, so Poppy as a lane counter to Camille. You would think that the pick is good, but I don't think that this is a good Camille counter at all. I've played this matchup a lot of times from both sides, and I can tell you that Camille definitely outscales. Once she hits her mythic and level 9, she just completely nukes you with the Qs. It's super easy to play around Poppy's subjugate. Actually, I don't know what it's called. Is it the subjugate? It's something like that. It's the knock-up that stops the dashes, but Camille just doesn't have to use the E. She can just trace down with the W, with the Q, and while in theory I think a lot of people think Poppy's a good counter to Camille, if the Camille is good enough, the counter doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, I don't really like the Poppy here either. Looking at it, it really only stops the Jarvan here. You could say theoretically it stops the Camille dive, but you already have so much to stop this Camille dive. You do have the Ahri, the Nautilus, you have the Xin Zhao. I would have liked to see something more damagey, or something that could match the Camille and the split push, but if the lane matchup goes exactly like the way you said, where Camille just dominates it, there's no way that Absolute Zero has any chance of stopping this Camille, right? There's nobody on their team that can stop her. There's nobody that can match the split push. And just like we saw last game, there's a good chance that if Dobbin gets ahead early, he's just gonna run the game.
Yeah, Dobbin is a beast unleashed. If you thought he was a menace on the tanks, wait till you see him on the carries. They've been saving this for the match point. I do think this is going to be another easy set for Dorado Gaming, but we will find out right after we go on a short break, guys, to load into this game. Don't go anywhere. We are on match point of the Runeterra Academy Playoff Series, so we will be right back.
Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you are, we always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you are, we always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me. It wouldn't be right to say always from the nights where we made with certain blaze. Fill me out with your smile. Now the sunshine brings the light. Fill me out with a flame. I will let you in this game.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Runeterra Academy playoff series between Dorado Gaming Sigma and Absolute Zero. We are here in game 3 with Dorado Sigma up 2-0, looking to close it out on a match point. I am joined here by my lovely co-caster, Mr. Carino, and we do have a 5-stack here from Dorado Gaming looking to dissuade any potential invades, but it looks like Absolute Zero is just going to 5-point.
Yeah, I think both teams, all 3 games, whoever had the Nautilus, the other team just 5-stacked against it, which I think is pretty smart because Nautilus tends to like to get an early invade for any kind of vision, so catching him out early on could be pretty good. As we load into this, though, I think my stream might be slightly off, so if I can get a timing from our producer. Okay, it looks like I am caught up. So let's see, looking at both sides, something interesting is that the Nautilus did opt for this exhaust and not that ignite. So it is going to lower the kill pressure that the Ashe and the Nautilus do have, which I think overall it's probably smart coming out from Absolute Zero to not take that, as they don't really have too much kill pressure coming to this lane, especially when you have this Braum that just completely counters the Nautilus. The exhaust, it is really useful, especially when you have this Camille and this Jarvan diving onto your carry. So overall, I think that's going to be a strong summoner spell for him.
Yep, and you know, from what little I do know about bot lane is that Jinx's weakest point is in the lane, so that's when you want to punish. I think it's a good sign for Dorado that Nautilus doesn't have the Ignite to look for the kills. Here on the top side, though, you know who does have the Ignite is Mr. Dobbin on his Camille. I think Ignite Camille is definitely something that is quite popular. You know, she has her hookshot and her ultimate to cap close, so doesn't necessarily always need the flash, but you know, Dobbin with that Ignite, I think signaling that he is looking to kill this Poppy, and you know, I don't necessarily hate it. I just think in matchups where you guaranteed win late, I like the flash just for the extra safety to get away from that Zen Zhao. But Dobbin, like I said, while he is a menace on tanks, he's an absolute monster on carries. So he's already coming out the gate strong, saying, "I'm gonna solo kill you. I don't need my flash. I can handle both of you in this game."
Yeah, and handle him he might, because both junglers are pathing away from this top side. Looks like the Jarvan, I believe, started red, or unless he got his red stolen, but it looks like he's just pathing down now, finally. So it looks like both junglers are going to be meeting on this bottom side, this sort of volatile lane, at least for Absolute Zero. If you know they're able to find a pick onto this Jinx and they're able to get the ball rolling, there's a good chance that they are able to snowball that into something. But with this Braum down here, I think it's going to be extremely hard for them to really find much. As we do see the scuttle getting started by Nguyen, he is going to be able to take this down as Jarvan runs risk getting double scuttle. Don't think that's going to amount to much though.
Yeah, it's appeared my directed camera was just stuck on the top lane, but now I've gotten back into the action a little bit more, as we can see. Jarvan looking for the flag and drag, not quite going to be able to find it. The top scuttle remains completely uncontested here, as Dobbin does have the push, so Mr. Jarvan can look to just run straight over to that. Interesting to note, I think that the weakest point in this lane for Camille is early, and Dobbin's absolutely dominating. Oh, as Godly is just going to rush in with the Braum. I haven't seen an engage like that in a while on Braum, but yeah, just great aggression to crash the wave, and I think bot lane is going in the favor of Sigma right now, as Mr. Rogue is going to pick up the Scuttle Crab for himself.
Yeah, you can see how powerful this Braum pick is into the Nautilus. It basically just shuts the Nautilus down completely, because he really has no way to go in unless Jinx gets a really, really big misposition and, you know, not only gets hooked but steps away from her Braum as well. And, you know, they're able to put the damage down, but Braum is able to just, you know, get the W off onto the Jinx, get the shield up, so it makes it just so difficult to put any kind of meaningful damage down in a 2v2 trade. And as well as, you know, Nautilus can't even go for the Braum, right? Because if he hooks the Braum, Braum starts applying these passive stacks. The Aftershock gets popped. He gets stunned. He has no Aftershock. He gets popped, right? So this lane is just going to be how well can Absolute Zero stem the bleeding and any kind of loss of CS that they might lose. But as I say that, a gank is coming down the bot lane.
Looking for it here. He's absolutely face tanking them once again. I mean, this man's an absolute Chad. Let's Rogue get in. Let's Lethal get Scepter on the Jinx. Is she going to be able to pick up the kill? Is he going to be able to flip it over? The flash for nothing. It's not going to be worth it, as Ashe does also flash in. You are not Jinx. You cannot get excited. Even if you could, you have no reason to, as the knockup is going to come in, and the Braum passive is going to knock her down, stun her. Double kill for the Jinx. Complete disaster for Absolute Zero, as Dobbin maybe threatening to get a kill here into the top side, as the E does get get popped early, Dobbin could look to go in, but no, he is not. The sequence of events does end. Double kill for Jinx. The bot wave is going to crash. The top wave is going in as well. And things are looking all up for Dog right now.
Yeah, I think almost any other support in that situation that Braum was just in now basically dies. But you could see the power of that shield. It just blocks so much damage from the Ashe. He doesn't even have Aftershock, and he was more tanky than the Nautilus. So this Braum is just an absolute miss in this matchup. And unfortunately for Absolute Zero, they are now looking at the barrel of a 2-0 Jinx.
Yeah, and we are getting flashbacks from game 1 right now with just how fed Mr. Sunshadow is on this Jinx early. We knew last time what happened with it, and I think it's even worse now with the utility 80 carry like the Ashe, you know, just not going to be able to shut down this Jinx very well. She's going to be able to coast through what should have been a hard-ish laning phase for her, and I think she is favored to be more useful late. Dobbin taking a bit of a rough trade top because he hasn't gotten his reset in, but he should be able to right after this wave with no issue. Poppy, though, very good champion to be able to dive with. I think she is quite strong. A lot of people underestimate that ability about her, but Dobbin recognizes this and is going to get out of the way of harm's danger as Absolute Zero is signaling here that they want the dragon, but we do have a lot of dogs on this side of the map.
Yeah, and the Ari's wave is just shoved in right now. If she were to rotate for this, she would lose so much. So that means that she is actually stuck catching that wave, and that means that has the inside track here.
Rogue with the flag drag, and Anivia is going to troll wall him on the other side of his team, but they are going to trade 1-for-1 on the kills. Jungler for jungler. No, 1-for-2 actually is going to fall. Send Shadow is not quite 6 yet, but they are going to pick up the kill. Tough Daddy gets the mana back from the level up. That was just about enough, but no, he's going to fall. Triple kill for the Ashe. Oh, this is looking like a disaster. This
Nibi's out of mana.
Quadra kill. Tough is out of mana, and he's into egg. No TPs can be had here. I think Ashe is gonna pick up a quick quadra kill. Wow. Turn the camera off. I don't know what just happened. That was a complete disaster. Dobbin looking to trade up here. Nothing should come from this. Looks like, yeah, Poppy is gonna hold on to the knockup, so he's gonna be saved from that fate. But yeah, I don't know what went so wrong here. Rogue is actually signifying that he wants to go back in. He does end up stealing the dragon as Braum is going to go back in with him. The passive is going to proc the dead. They're going to take it up, and Rogue gets 6, and he's going to pick up another kill. The shutdown. And he just set himself up to get 700 gold from just the Ashe alone.
Gold transfer complete.
Yeah, all part of the plan that he just made up, as Jinx would say. Well done.
It looked like, you know, a blunder coming out from Sigma, but no, they were just investing in Ashe coin, and, you know, they just cashed out. So the 700 gold does go over to Rogue. It is on this driving this early game playmaker. I think, you know, it's not necessarily the best person you want to see it on, but it's by far not the worst. So I think going over for driving is going to be really good. But, you know, that dragon fight, it did look bad for Sigma. Actually, it looked bad for Absolute Zero at first, but unfortunately for Sigma, they chased a little bit too hard. He did get trolled wall a little bit, but because of that, they were able to find the momentum, or Absolute Zero was able to find momentum back into that fight. Ashe just DPSing, not, you know, really hurt at all. But, you know, on the back end of that, Rogue comes in with the hero play, able to take the dragon, able to take the kill, and now we are back with a 2,000 gold lead for Sigma.
Okay, I should be all caught up. We did have a bit of a freeze on the stream real quick, but I am at 52 seconds now, so I think we're all good to go. Yeah, I'm all caught up. Okay, as Dobbin looking for a trade here on the top side. He doesn't even have his mythic yet. He's absolutely smashing these trades. And as you mentioned, Rogue just rug pulling that Ashe coin right when it was at its peak value. 700 gold shutdown is nothing to scoff at. However, that quadra kill did bring Ashe right back into the game, so definitely this game is closer than it was when the domination was happening in the early game. We're about 9 minutes in, and Sigma is up about 2,000 gold. But this top lane matchup is just going really rough for the Poppy. I mean, she could die at any moment with the way she's getting poked out. As we're gonna have some action here. Tough Daddy has no egg, but Rogue was right over the wall. I don't have to expect that troll wall, and the knockup is gonna save Rogue, but he is gonna get collapsed on by everybody and their mothers. I don't know if he had the Gore Drinker ready to proc or not, but he is gonna get shut down by the Poppy. Not who you want to give that money to. I don't think that was a good selection for that, but they do pick him up regardless. And yeah, really well timed invade, just making use of the fact that Anivia is pretty useless early on.
Yeah, the Anivia ran out of mana, I believe, trying to push out the mid lane so she could pick up that blue buff, but Nguyen and Lele were able to sniff that out, and because of that, they were able to find the invade, stop the blue buff from going over. Nivea had no mana, had to get out of dodge, and that left Jarvan in a 1v3. Poppy roamed down first over the Camille because the wave is shot.
He's looking for it. He does land it. The Psycho gets it. He trades the Ignite for the Flash. Well done for him.
Oh,
they may
no
not be
Ash.
done. Actually, oh, God. I turn the stream off. I don't know. That there's a lot going on each side of the map here. Domin is gonna fall as well as Godly is gonna fall there on the bot side. Bit of a blunder play going that far in, but Rogue is here to maybe salvage it. He doesn't have the flash, however. He does have the ult, though the Cataclysm not gonna drop. They may try for a dive, but Domin did fall on the top side, and this game is all memes so far. Definitely a lot of content going on.
Yeah, definitely for sure. I think Godly had the right idea there. Maybe went a little bit too far. The Ashe was able to survive. That being said, good for Rogue for able to stop the Jinx from going down as well. But in the top lane, a really well timed gank by Nguyen does find Dobbin and stop his dominance. Rift Herald does go down, might find this tower at least a lot of damage.
Yep, and really unfortunate for Dobbin. If he had any sort of help up there, both of the enemy champions would die, but plays failing on both sides of the map. Godly just overly aggressive, and
Jinx Rocket went down to the Poppy, took her down to 1 HP.
oh, just so unlucky. I mean, if she could have picked up that 450 gold, that would have been huge for her scaling, but it's not to be. And I think while Dorado does not like that chain of events, they are still slightly up in gold, and I do favor them as the comp and the game goes on longer. So no need to panic sell your Dorado coin right now.
Yeah, just a little bit of a dip in value, but if you hodl, it will go up. So, to the moon and back we shall go. As, 12 minutes into the game, the 2k gold lead that Sigma had is diminishing quite a bit. That shouldn't matter too much, I don't think, because as always, Sigma has picked themselves a better scaling team. So they are going to scale better. There's a little bit of trade going on in the top lane.
I mean, that Sunfire keep is doing a lot of damage. It's a charm. It doesn't matter if it's nullified by the EQ buffer, but he is going to instantly fall down. Godly is going to hit the ult onto the backline, but I don't know if it's going to be enough because Ari does have the resets, and he's going right on the top daddy. He's going to pop into Egg Nivea. Egg Nivea, the most useless champion in the game. Send Shadow free hitting from the back, and this Dorado comp just does a whole lot of nothing. It just not looking very strong right here in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, the engage went down onto the Xin Zhao, and that is not the person you want to be engaging on, because Xin Zhao was able to just pop that ultimate, block so much damage of the engage that came out from Sigma, and it basically meant that they traded Jarvan for nothing. And then from there, they were routed, they were lost, and I think Sigma is making some mistakes right now in the early game. They are trying to fight early on, they're not setting up properly to get the fights that they need to. And because of that, their earlier, weaker team comp is just going to get run over by this Xin Zhao, by this Ahri, by this Ashe that has basically already spiked at one item, since that champion doesn't really need a whole lot early on to do a good amount of damage. But as I say that, engage your top lane.
Here we go, and the ultimate is going to knock her out to safety, but this is the state of the lane now that Poppy is against the Camille with Sunderer. Just completely untradeable. You're going to have to hope that you have a flash, an ult, or a knock-up to get away. Anything short of that will mean death for you, so while things may look a little bit down for Dorado right now, I do believe that Dobbin will be able to leverage enough of a lead here with this Camille in the side lane against the Poppy.
And one saving grace that I will put for Sigma out there is that this Ashe decided to go the shield build. And if she decides to keep building on hit items, I will say that is probably one of her weakest builds, if not the weakest build she can have right now. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. She doesn't have a lot of cooldown reduction for these, 30-second ultimates going everywhere on the map. And it basically only makes her safe. But I think for the most part, she's safe anyway, so I don't think that she needed the shield build. I think it might be a bit of a slight blunder. I don't think she's pushing her lead as much as she can. I would rather have much seen maybe a Blade of the Rune King or an Essence Reaver or something that can just give a lot of ability haste and help them find the picks coming into this mid game, and maybe they're able to push their lead more. That being said, Sigma is only down 300 gold. They still have a good chance to win this. They do have the better scaling team. 300 gold down, 15 minutes in the game is not a terrible spot you want to be.
Yep, and I think that the enemy AD carry has lost to Boris quite a lot throughout this series, drafting or going for the Divine Sunderer Ezreal in game 1, as we'll remember. So, good advantage for Sigma that the enemy AD carry just has never attended an LS class of itemization, but You know, unfortunate for the Ashe, I guess, that the 6-2 lead is not going to leverage as the Ashe does go wide. Godly is a bit of a chat on this Braum, so he is going to knock him up. The double stun into the double Cataclysm. They're both stuck in between a rock and a Jinx plays as sheer lethal temple fully up. She's going to Gale Force in. Shutdown goes to the Braum. Not quite who you want to see it on, but that's all right because 2 kills are picked up for Sigma.
Yeah, that shield though, not doing a whole lot there. Still dies. So, I mean, you can see how she doesn't exactly do a whole lot of damage with it, and it doesn't really save her anyway. So like I said, much rather see a better build. That being said, that was a great pick coming out from Rogue and coming out from Godly. Looks like the Nautilus, was just trying to trying to fight over a ward, which he really shouldn't have been.
Dobbin's
in the top
in.
lane.
And he avoided the ult. He did. He avoided the ult. The knockup is no longer there as well, so he's gonna be able to finish this off. He does go for the but the flash, I did not think he had to either. I think he actually had that kill until he went for the hook shot on the wall. But that's all right. You blow the flash and the ultimate from the Poppy, and now he's looking to set up a freeze here on this Poppy as well. So she is going to be struggling quite hard to find a foothold in this lane. Just an interesting sequence of events that I think is starting to tilt in the favor of Dorado Gaming Sigma.
Yeah, they will from 300 gold down to now 1.5k gold up. Minute 40 on this dragon, a little bit of charm damage, lands in the mid lane, not going to be a whole much. But taking a look into the items, Jinx is building towards this last Whisper item. She's got 1.5 items in. She's actually got more gold, I believe, than this Ashe. Yeah, 300 more gold in this Ashe, and she's down 3 kills. So you can see basically like where the gold difference is coming in. For Sigma, and that's going to be so huge because like Ashe 2 items, I sleep. Jinx 2 items, I woke. Real stuff right there. And when this Jinx starts getting all these crit items in, she's going to be doing so much more damage to this Ashe. And this Ashe it can't even compete really because she's not going to be that old bot with this build. She's just going to be super safe. Maybe we saw her die even with this build. But I a little bit of boar stiff. That being said, looking at the junglers, Jarvan's ahead, of course. Looking at the mid lane, about even. Looking at the top lane, Dobbin is down some gold, but I mean, we've seen how these trades are going. I think that if Sigma ever fights, it's going to have to be this dragon.
Has to blow his flash. They're trolling his positioning a little bit, but the Anivia wall comes out into the max range root of the Everfrost Rogue, deciding this is a perfect time for him to go in 1v5 into the Xin Zhao, but he's going to get hit by the Jinx rocket. You just got Jinx diffed, my friend, as the Camille ult is going to drop in as well, locking the Poppy in a second. The Cataclysm comes in. That's big. Dobbin is having the backline. The Ignite is going to pay off there because it's going to pick up the Ahri. Is Dobbin able to live? Yes, just about 1 HP. Unlucky. Miss Ashe, you opted to build a shield blow, which is doing a big fat load of nothing right now.
Wow, that team fight was crazy. It was a really good pick for Sigma, and they're able to just turn that into a team fight roll. Nobody goes down for Sigma. 4 for nothing. That is such a huge team fight for Sigma. They're going to pick up this dragon. They picked up a 3,000 gold lead now. Kills even went over on the Jinx. This Jinx is going to be so fed. It's going to be doing so much damage compared to this Ashe now. I think as of right now, Sigma has basically scaled, and it is their game to lose at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Powder from Arcane is just completely fed over here. About to hit that big 2-item spike that you were talking about, we spoke about. And, just all in all, I think a lot of credit to Sigma, and especially Godly, because he's playing this Braum like it's an engaged hook champion, just completely jumping in the faces of the enemy team. And I don't think they're expecting this amount of aggression from a Braum. Throughout the lane and throughout the mid game, I think he's been playing it exceptionally well. So all that being said, Dorado is up about 4,000 gold. 4 minutes for the next dragon to come up, and I think now you're looking to crack these towers in the top and mid lane if you're Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to see Sigma sort of swap out their top laners right now. I don't think that Dobbin needs to be top lane right now. I would much rather see him be bot, and then maybe Sigma can rotate people up towards this top side or even this mid tower and sort of start cracking up these towers, start getting to the jungle. But as I say that, it might be a gank into the top lane as Rogue is behind him.
Oh, the ultimate does drop down onto the Ashe, who is wishing she had opted into a little bit of different itemization at this point, because the shield, though, is not going to do anything to save her, as the Cataclysm does drop and finishes her off. Dobbin goes for a bit of a funky E, but the Spirit is what counts, because he is going to be able to pick up this Nautilus in just a second here. This is a complete disaster here. Rogue is jumping in like a complete Chad on the Jarvan. They pick up another kill. The Herald is going to drop. Godly is traded in, but that's a trade he'll take any day of the week, as the Anivia is finally starting to be useful just about 20 minutes into the game. Wow, what a champion. Wow, what another champion that is going to drop. The Xin Zhao 0-4, dropping a monster scoreline. Big stun, big Gale Force, big ace, big day, big year for Dorado Gaming. Another pickup here in the top side. This Herald's going to crash onto the tier 2. and the Dorado dominance continues to march forward.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm Absolute Zero right now, the game is not very fun. You have 3 melees into an Anivia Braum, and they're 3 melees that are not very movable after they land their first hit of CC. So like they're not having a good time. They're just getting kited around. They're basically spending their whole entire time like running away rather than doing damage. And the person that is doing damage is this Ash with the shield bow. So there's really not a whole lot going on for Absolute Zero. They don't really have a way to win this game right now at this point. I think their best chance of winning this game, if they put all their brain power into it, is to just find picks. But picks are going to be so hard to find unless Sigma straight up gift them the game at this point. They do have this Braum to protect them. They have this Anivia with an egg, even if she does go down. They have these hyper mobile carries or frontline in the terms of like Jarvan and Camille. It's not looking good for Absolute Zero. That being said, Mike getting engaged right now.
Yep, the Rogue's looking for it. He knows that Poppy can sub at any time, but Godly buffered his ultimate here, and the Jinx traps are going to drop in there. She's actually completely rooted there, and oh, the Jinx ultimate just about hits her. It's not going to be enough to finish her off, and they are going to walk away when all is said and done.
Yeah, walk away they will. Just a little bit of trade of cooldowns. So we're 20 minutes into the game. 6k gold lead going over to Sigma. They are now tearing down this mid turret finally. They might not take it, but at least they get a little bit of damage. As I say that, a little bit of damage is traded onto Godly. Not too much though. Top lane did go down finally, so these outer towers are starting to crack for Sigma. They're picking up a lot of the standing gold on the map that was rightfully theirs after they win these team fights. And we have a minute on Dragon, which is probably going to be the game-deciding fight if Absolute Zero were to fight for it.
Yeah, and I think the bad news for this draft from Absolute Zero is that their team comp does about 0 damage combined. Xin Zhao is 0 and 4, so he does absolutely nothing. Ash is Ash building shield bow, and Poppy just not very productive. So the only damage they have is the Ahri, who is a bit behind from tough and can't really hit the entire team. So I think if Sigma doesn't troll these fights, it's just completely unplayable for Absolute Zero, but we shall see how this plays out, because it looks like they're trying to contest this dragon in 40 seconds as Dobbin is going for a backdoor here. I mean, it's not game ending, and they'll just send somebody to match him, but definitely forces somebody to come meet him there in the top lane. Don't know if I love that TP, to be honest with you, because now he can't join the fights, and I think Absolute Zero is happy trading that away for their much weaker Poppy. So maybe if they're going to look for a fight, now's the time, but Dobbin might be looking for an outplay here on the top side. The Q2 does not land on the Poppy. That would have chunked her to about a half or a quarter HP if it did. And both teams just playing safe right now, playing the old Mexican standoff here, the stare down in the river.
Yeah, Godly is on the outside here, and they might have found something here.
Yeah, that Nivea skin is definitely pay to win, because I can't even tell that that's the Q coming out. That looks like something else, but yeah, we do have a flank from the Ahri here. She is behind them. This might actually be huge, but the charm misses. You had one job, Ahri, and it's not to run away from the fight as Rogue ults the backline. The backline doing absolute 0 damage in this team fight as the Jarvan outputting more than the rest of them combined. They are going to pick up another one. Jinx is excited. Godly is flashing in the face of his enemies because he has no fear. The Nivea wall is going to block off Ashe from certain victory. She is going to get stunned off that last second of the passive. And yep, Sen Shadow is completely unstoppable in this game. Sigma firing on all cylinders. Lots of credit to them. They're playing this game very well.
Yeah, Alpo just gave up there. He's like, I'm not even gonna run away. Just kill me now. Make this game go over sooner. I'm trying to get out of this game already, I guess, because yeah, I mean, you saw how little damage that Ashe build did. Rogue went in. He's got the shield. He's got the zombies. He got so much time. This Ashe was full DPS him the entire time, and she wasn't able to kill him. Meanwhile, Jinx was able to literally just hop over a wall, sit there, wait out his Zen's ult, wait out multiple threats, and then go back in, and then out DPS the Ashe. Meanwhile, though, Ashe is DPSing the whole time. You could just see like how little damage this build does. I'm sorry if I harp on it way too much. This build frustrates me sometimes.
No, it's definitely one of the weak sides of drafting this Ashe AD carry. I think, you have to have that extra consideration that when you have a utility ADC like Ashe, you're going to need to supplement with some hyper carry damage somewhere else. So I really don't like the fact that they pair this with the Poppy. You go for the quote unquote lane counter. What did it really net you? Nothing. The Camille is still up and out damaging, out utilizing your Poppy. So would have loved to see a bit more of a carry from the topside pick here. But instead, they have to play with the cards that they're dealt right now, down about 10,000 gold. That's a number we've become very familiar with over the course of the series, 10,000 gold at about 20 to 25 minutes. And we're going to do the Nash dance here. So let's see if Sigma learned their lesson from the game one burger flip.
Yeah, hopefully they're able to clear out the red side vision control that Absolute Zero have right now, because if they don't, we're going to another burger flip, and I would hate for Sigma to have to do that again. But it looks like Absolute Zero might be trying to strong arm themselves into this Baron pit to get their vision down. I don't know if Sigma should really be giving this up, because I feel like they're so much stronger, and they could be fighting for this and could be fighting for so much more control. But we'll have to see if they're able to find anything here.
Yeah, they're playing scared at about a 10,000 gold. Dobbin's on the flank actually, and there's a TP coming in from behind, but I don't know if Absolute Zero wants this. As Dobbin is gonna just escape out. Yeah, he's gonna blast cone to safety, and there's just Zinzao all by his lonesome on the other side of an Anivia wall. Just so tragic, he can't even move, or maybe who's Eskid, I can't even tell. The Cataclysm goes in onto the back line that once again is doing absolute zero damage as Anivia drops her down with the Glacial Storm ultimate.
Wow, great wall.
Yeah, great. Troll wall, triple kill for the Jinx. Is she going to be able to get the quadra kill? I don't think so. Nope, we are not going to cast two pentas in a row. Karina, very close, but no cigar on that one. Just like Graves, so they're going to rotate over here to this Nash and pick it up, you have to imagine, free of charge.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be free of charge, and it's definitely going to be a soon-to-be win for Sigma, I think. They're 11k gold up, about to be 13, 14k gold up after this Baron. They're going to have the Baron push. They're going to have basically all the cards in their hands. The Exodia has been assembled. All they need to do is just put the cards on the table and win the game. That being said, Platinum Games, but I really can't see Sigma throwing this game. I think they've played this game the best out of every other game so far, because we have seen more throws in other games. Hopefully it's not a caster's curse. But I think Sigma is just going to walk up mid lane, walk up bot lane, and just close this game out now.
Yeah, I definitely think, there's in best of ones, anything can happen. There can be upsets, but I think in a best of five, the better team almost always wins. And what we're learning from this series is that Dorado Gaming Sigma completely outclasses this Absolute Zero team. Just on every side of the map, really. It's going to be hard for me to pick an MVP for this series just because everybody's been playing so well. Once again, you have bounties in just about every single lane and the jungle as well. Bit of a team gap, a bit of a draft gap this game. So Dorado Game Sigma looking for their final push here, maybe playing for the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I mean, the Ocean Soul would be the safer way to do it. That being said, if it's kind of a double-edged sword. If they get the Ocean Soul and they're not able to finish the game, that does leave an Elder Win Con coming up for Absolute Zero. I don't think that they would give it to him, but engage
Zero. It's Godly, doesn't really care though, because he's going to just drop the shield up, and Zinzao has to ult the air because he's just afraid of everything that breathes at this point. As the Tree-Man Cataclysm into the back, everybody's going down. The Rocket, the Gale Force, the Cheeks is going on a rampage. Wow. Almost made this a non-PG stream, but well done to her. Triple kill, double kill for Dobbin, and I think that's going to be the game. I think that is going to be the series. Yeah, GGs are dropping in the chat. Yeah, all that's left is to put a bow on this game, on this series. Congratulations to Dorado Gaming Sigma. This is indeed the year of the dog as they advance in Runeterra Academy playoffs 3-0. Another easy set for Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, congrats to Sigma going into the quarterfinals, I believe, next week. Congratulations to them. This was just an easy series coming out from them. They looked so dominant. They had a few hiccups now and then, but they cleaned that up so well, and well-deserved.
Yep, and all that's left for us is to interview our MVP. So what is your pick, Karina? What are you thinking?
Oh,
it's a team interview. Okay, sorry.
Okay, team interviews are cool, but yeah, I think I have to give it to Godly. I think Godly has played so phenomenally well this series. He found so many good hooks on that Nautilus, and he played this Braum like a Nautilus, just finding so many good picks. They got counter pick on support, I believe, like every game, and he shined like immaculately, like bot diff every game.
It's actually so hard for me to pick an MVP just because everybody had their absolute amazing pop-off moments as well as some lowlights. But I mean, yeah, it's everybody played amazingly, so no disrespect or all credit to you if you didn't get picked. But I'm gonna have to agree with you, Karina. I think Godly played out of his mind this series, just always on the aggressive, you know. Even playing the Braum, just imagining it's a hook champion and jumping in, that guy is a psycho on that champion. So I do want to get the Sigma guys in here if they can, hop back into the Dorado server so we can give them the good old team interview for their 3-0 victory today. But yeah, I think me and Karina are in agreement that Ivy on Godly is going to be our series MVP for this round of 16. And don't go anywhere, guys, because we are grabbing some people for some interviews if they can find their way here into our server. So we will be on a quick break, but when we're back, we'll have Dorado Gaming Sigma for you in the interview booth.
Oh, what's happened?
That's a
I think he's match reporting, maybe.
he's still in the.
All right. Yep. Looks like we have everybody. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, congratulations on your 3-0 victory, guys, in the Runeterra Academy Playoff Series round of 16. Another easy set for Dorado Gaming. Was a pleasure to cast. So we're going to get right into it. I don't know if you heard, but we did elect that Mr. IB Godly is our series MVP. So, Godly, I'm going to start off my first question to you, my good man. How did the series feel for you? Talk to me about the picks. Talk to me about that explosive bot lane energy all the way from games 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, just give me your thoughts on the series, man.
Thoughts on the series? Well, first off, thank you for the interview. Big dub for the boys. Series in all, man, we played with a lot of confidence. Playoff Godly was out. I was just fucking ready to hook. Oh, apologies for the swear words. But I was just ready to hook, ready to make plays. I actually felt a lot more communicative. I wanted to be, engaging, looking for the right plays. And the boys followed me up, and it was just an easy dub. All around, just an easy series, to be honest. But yeah, good times.
Yeah, very nice to hear. I mean, we could definitely see that in the casting booth. There was no shortage of plays being made, no shortage of hooks being landed, and Braum ults being shot out. So very entertaining to watch. I mean, if I could give all of you guys the MVP, I would, because there were some pretty monster performances from across the aisle. Which brings me to my next question. I absolutely have to ask about this because that's my favorite champion in the game. Mr. Dobbin bringing out the Susan Decane Nasus in game 2. Tell me about the pick. How did we land on it? How did it feel? And yeah, just tell me about playing Susan, man, because that was a pleasure to watch.
Well, it was kind of boring. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. The Trinimir got the early 2-0, and I was a little scared. But then I bought a Frozen Heart, and then he just stopped dealing damage. He just crit me for 90, and then I just sort of realized that I just won the game. But you know what? Mr. Coachman told me to pick it, and so that's how we got there. And I mean, it did the job. You know, I hit Q. It did big damage. That's kind of it. I don't know what else to say.
No, for sure. I mean, Dobbin, a man of few words, but a man of lots of plus 12 kills that game. Just one shots all across the board. When you guys have some time, you should definitely watch the cast back because we were so hyped watching that pick, and that game was the fiesta, the content game that we were all hoping that it was. Karina, do you have anything?
Yeah, I got a question for Rogue actually. So coming into this game, you seem like so freaking confident in like all of these like junglers you're playing. Like you're basically jungle diffing the whole game as well. Were you guys like afraid of like the pick ban strategy that Absolute Zero had coming in regards to like the jungle or like because it seemed like a lot of the bans were sort of kind of going down at least for the top jungle bull.
Hell no. That guy is
Hell
so
yeah.
dog, bro. Oh my goodness. To be fair, I was very confident coming into this game. I heard a lot of things about the other jungler, and I was like, I don't really care. I'm gonna gap him. So I was very confident coming into this game. I don't think it really mattered what jungler it was gonna be. I think we are just gonna blind whatever I wanted, and it didn't really matter. It was kind of played not the best, to be quite honest. And my team just absolutely massacred them. So all I had to do was follow up.
Yeah, it's just a team diff, I suppose. Then.
Oh yeah, big one.
I mean, also like to throw on top of that, we had like really good draft prep with Okeanos like helping us out before today. We had a really good like spreadsheet and everything. Like we knew exactly what we wanted going into this series.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Yep, that was pretty big. I mean, you guys definitely seem to be draft capping them every game, and I mean, I want to ask. Well, with that in mind, tough. You drew 3 mid bans in that last game, and we were kind of wondering where you were going to go because you've been left, right, and center in this series, picking stuff like the Zillion, like the Corki, and how did you end up on the Anivia, man? Tell me about that.
So they blinded Ari again. And then I was telling Lester earlier, or not Lester, John, when we were doing the draft prep, he was like, this guy plays like only Ari, so do you have anything in Ari? And I was like, I don't care what he plays, bro. I'll play anything in Ari. And then, they banned a couple of my champions, and then he used to be my old coach, so he knows about the Ari, and he was like, tough Ari goes, or not Ari, Anivia. And I was like, he's like, Anivia goes hard here. And I was like, you know what, you right, lock that in. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, it seemed like the usefulness of the pick was scaling as the game went on because those walls did seem a little bit interesting at first, but once you started putting some points in that ability, they had absolutely nowhere to go. So just really a pleasure to watch. I mean, I love that you guys pulled out some non-standard picks here. But there was one person in this series that I have to highlight that absolutely played only standard picks, and that's Mr. Sen Shadow. I mean, you did absolutely smurf it on the Jinx games, but how do you feel about your 3 games of Jinx duty?
We didn't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we were just chilling with the Ash. They or the Jinx. They did not put any priority on it. They didn't ban it. We're blue side, and they just give it to us for free. They even ban Hecarim, so we don't even have to think about first picking it. We did have a pick into Jinx if they happen to steal it, but I don't know why they kept putting priority on other random picks, and Jinx is just the most OP ADC right now.
Yeah, and you definitely demonstrated that in this game. All right, well, I don't think we have any more questions, so we're just going to jump straight into shoutouts, and I think we'll go from top to bottom. So we'll start with Dalvin.
I don't have anyone to shout out.
Yeah, well said. Okay, we're going to go straight to Rogue then.
You don't have anybody to shout out. I'm gonna shout out my team. I'm gonna shout out Mr. John. I'm gonna shout out all the junglers for Dorado. Y'all are cracked. I'm gonna shout out specifically Dark because he's cracked. Gold jungler. He's coming up in the big scenes soon. But definitely my team. That was like a huge gap, bro. That was, oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah, absolutely nice. And then Tough, what do you got for me?
I like to shout out my whole team. I think we played really well today. Comms were all like pretty on point today. And then I like to shout out John big time. I hit him up last Sunday when we lost to VOD review. He VODed with us, and then he offered to help us through playoffs. And I really appreciate it. I know he's a really busy guy, so I really appreciate his time.
Nice. And jumping next to Mr. Sen Shadow.
I'm agreeing with Tough. We were undefeated until that last scrim, and then when John Okeanos, when he came in and we VOD reviewed it, we cleaned up a lot of those early game mistakes, and like all 3 of these games were a pretty large draft diff. So
Yep, very nice. So it looks like Dorado getting some outside help definitely showed in this series. And with that, Mr. Godley, what do you have for us in terms of the shoutouts? You're muted, by the way. I don't know if you know. Yep.
Oh, well, that was awkward. Well, anyways, as cliche as it is to say, I want to shout out the boys, the team, the coaching staff, the management, everybody around here in Dorado. The boys came out to play, and it was beautiful to experience that with them. And also, I want to shout out the fucking 7 beers I've had tonight. I just had a
Oh my
great
God.
time,
Hey.
and I just want to say, Kokanee's pretty good beer. Give it a try if you have it. Could be Canadian. I don't know, but yeah, no, great times, guys. Thanks.
Yep.
Shout out
super
Mushai.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Shout out Moonshine and
Shout
yeah,
out all the
everybody else.
the Sigma subs.
Oh, big shout out to Sass too. She made me play Yumi too.
Oshi Zoel.
Yeah.
All the casters, thanks for taking the time to do this.
Oh yeah, good job, guys. You guys did an amazing job casting tonight. Really proud of you.
Yeah.
Production was
appreciate
amazing. Good job working on the overlays and everything. People notice those things, and thank you.
it. Yeah, everything was definitely on point tonight, from the production to the cast. I can't wait for you guys to watch it back because I enjoyed it. This is probably my favorite series that I've
Crazy.
ever casted. So, I think with that though, we are going to bring it to a close for the sake of time and my voice. We are going to do it. That's going to do it for us here tonight at Dorado Gaming, guys. Another easy set as we continue our march on to the Year of the Dog. But we will see you guys very soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank
Peace
you.
out.
Good night.
Holy